Good morning, everybody. We have a lot of stuff that just happened over the last few hours, really. Specifically, Kharg Island was hit. Oil is back up. You know, you can see it originally dipped down at about 3 a.m. this morning, all the way back down to under 111.50. And now it popped on this news back up to 114. This news came out right here. Let me show you guys. So this news came out right here. Pushed oil up, pushed the NASDAQ S&P Dow down. And yeah, it's definitely more escalating news here. And this is already after we have an 8 p.m. deadline. But yeah, there were Kharg strikes specifically here. Most of Iran's exports go through Kharg Island. It's their version of the loop in the Gulf, right? So if this terminal goes offline, Iran can't export crude. It takes about 1.5 million barrels a day off the global market. So this is definitely escalating news. Iran also said a couple different things. But yeah, this is a big hit for them. And they put out a bunch more escalating things. They basically said they warned neighboring countries that restraint is over and that they're going to target U.S. and partners' infrastructure and threaten to disrupt regional oil and gas supplies for years, right? And so that obviously is scaring oil. If you look at the NASDAQ here, NASDAQ is down on this news. Look at the NASDAQ drop all the way back down. So again, this news is affecting them. The NASDAQ has fallen all the way down here. Look at this drop. So NASDAQ was over 24,400s. It's now at 24,200s. It's still not reacting as much as it usually does on this type of news. But yeah. You want to watch oil today, obviously. Defense stock, Lockheed Martin, RTX, and more. Energy stocks. VIX, if we take a look at it this morning, is back over 25. It was under 25 when prior to this news dropping, but now the VIX is elevated. It's back up to 25 plus here. And yeah. What's up, Mac, Chef, MK, Roof, Sam, Demetrius, Six, Gamer, Big Slum, Roof, Farmer, J, E, Apex, Abu, Pawn, Check, Egan, Sergio, Old, Ava, more. What's up, guys? Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, we got Britt here today. He didn't bail on us this morning, so Britt is here this morning. What's up, Jonathan? Yeah, not yet. Wondering. Hey, what's up, dude? Are you guys bullish or bearish today? We got the 8 p.m. deadline for escalating stuff going on. And yeah, it's an interesting market, man. We'll see what happens. I am in that situation where, you know, I think the market's starting to get used to some of these headlines. I mean, it's still reacting, but it's not reacting as much as it has previously. We also had the Qatar Foreign Ministry spokesperson say it's too early now to talk about financial mechanisms related to the operation of the Strait in Hormuz. In the future there, we need the Strait to open first. We got him speaking. But remember, Donald Trump set an 8 p.m. deadline, warning he will hit major infrastructure if they don't reopen the Strait of Hormuz. He could avoid action, but the risks are weakening his leverage, they say. So large-scale strikes would be a major escalation. He may claim progress towards a deal and push the deadline back again. That's possible. A lot of people, if so, will say Taco. If he believes they're stalling, he could do strikes either immediately or in stages to force concessions. Tensions are high. And like I said earlier, we did get news that a bunch of strikes happened, specifically Kharg Island. We also had targeting of the railway bridge in the city of Kashan in central Iran. Now, a lot of these are coming from Israel, to be honest. So a lot of these are not coming from the U.S. directly, but they're coming from Israel. But Iran did refuse to give a temporary truce in exchange for reopening the Strait of Hormuz or giving up its uranium enrichment. Instead, it was permanent ceasefire that it wanted while keeping control of the strait and sharing transit fees with Oman. They also said they doubt negotiations will stop the U.S. attacks, expecting strikes to continue. So both sides holding firm here. We also had the Qatar Foreign Ministry spokesperson said we are close to the point where the situation in the region could spiral out of control. And I think so as well. I mean, I think this news is obviously escalating news that is going to potentially drive the price of oil higher, and it has already. Obviously, the VIX is high, oil is high. The Nasdaq, S&P, Dow are now lower. They're still up over the last few days, so we've had a couple green days here. And this is all heading into the end of this week, which is the most packed here part of the week for economic reports. We have CPI inflation. We have PCE, GDP inflation. Today we have durable good orders actually dropping at 8:30 today. Hey, what's up, Dr. Crypto? Will he taco today, guys? Let me know in chat right now. Put taco or no. Will he follow through is basically that question. Again, taco stands for Trump always chickens out, right? I didn't come up with that. You know, the market did. But will he taco on the snooze? Yeah, earnings season coming up. Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't realize my music wasn't coming through.
How do we have any idea?
Hold on, Britt. They can't hear you this morning. Sorry, dude. Hold on. I did something to mess with my audio here. Hold on. Here. All right, speak, Britt.
Hello. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Should Britt be a little bit higher? I can always put him a little bit higher here. That might be good. Talk.
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. All right. All right. So I see taco, no taco, no taco today. Taco.
I go no taco.
No taco? You don't think he chickens out at this point?
No, I don't think so. I mean, he might, but
yeah. I think if he does, it's gonna be I think if he does, it's gonna be more along the lines of like, oh, you know, we've had direct talks with Iran, and we're gonna now, you know, we're gonna slow down these strikes now. You know, I think it's gonna be something like that.
Yeah, it's weird. He threatens while he's advocating for diplomacy, or vice versa. It's kind of a weird thing to do.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Yeah, like I said, I try really not to get into politics too much, and I was just explaining this to Britt before the stream started. But sometimes the market reacts to economic reports. Like a few years ago, market really was watching economic data. Sometimes the market reacts to like Jerome Powell. Sometimes the market reacts to earnings, and there's all these different fears and movements in markets. Right now, the market's reacting to this conflict. Like it's a news-based market. Keegan even said it earlier, where Keegan said, what did he say? He said, this news market is lame. Yeah, and this is what this market is right now. This market is moving purely based off of overseas news. And so I am reading Axios reporting, citing a U.S. official, that U.S. military did conduct strikes on military targets on Kharg Island. And remember, Kharg Island, guys, is where 90% of Iran's oil comes from. It's where Iran exports 90% of its oil, I mean. And so it's their main crude export terminal in the Persian Gulf. If it's been struck multiple times, the war just escalated dramatically on this news, and oil is elevated from it. Here's the S&P 500 here. Again, it's at 6620s, but oil is up. Look at oil.
So basically, that's where all their processing and shipping is. I mean, I knew their shipping was, but it's processed there too, right?
Yes. And this is bad. Like, look, if you want to look at Kharg Island here, let's take a look at it. I saw a post earlier. Look at it. So here's Kharg Island. Yeah, this talks a little bit much, so hold on, let me... There we go. Yeah, so Kharg... Show you guys some images of it. This is Kharg Island right here. Wait for it, I gotta wait for it. Back. 1, 2, here it is. This is Kharg right here. So you can see how much infrastructure is over there, right? Like that's a lot of infrastructure. That's a lot of oil. And just to kind of recap this, Kharg Island is a small island in the Persian Gulf, about 25 kilometers off the southwestern coast of Iran. It's roughly 8 kilometers long. If you look at it on a map, it's very, very small. But it's one of the most important oil export facilities on Earth, really. And so it handles around 90% of their crude oil exports. And, you know, almost all of its flows regarding Iranian oil go through Kharg. It has massive crude storage tanks, multiple loading jets, or jetties, capable of handling super tankers. They load about 1.5 to 2 million barrels per day of crude through Kharg Island. Most of it goes to China and Chinese refiners. And so its storage capacity is roughly 20 million barrels across multiple tank farms. Its export capacity is up to 5 million barrels per day at peak. It's currently running, again, 1.5 to 2 million. And roughly 80% of Iran's foreign currency earnings come from oil exports, meaning Kharg is essentially their economic lifeline. So striking Kharg is a big escalation here. It's a big escalation. And yeah, we'll see what this leads to.
So I know they struck multiple targets, but I mean, do we have any idea exactly how comprehensive the damage was?
They're not going to tell us how bad it is. Usually they're going to downplay it. So if we hear from them, they're usually going to downplay it. All we hear is that the U.S. conducted strikes there.
Okay.
But they're not going to really give us too much information regarding it. Like this, again, this is not just a physical conflict. It's a perception conflict.
Yeah, PR.
You know? Yeah. And so they are going to... Both sides are going to say what makes them look the best, generally. And so on their side, they're going to say, oh, well, these weren't that bad. You know, it's not that big of a deal. But, you know, we're going to do this, this, and this. Right? Like, that's what this has been a lot. There's been a lot of this.
I agree.
Yeah.
I thought we might have released something, you know, not them, but I was just curious.
The president hasn't really been tweeting, and a lot of this is coming from, like, Axios and other news sources where it gets leaked there. But there was a targeting of a railway bridge in central Iran. And Kharg Island was hit. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then Israel did post that they said they completed a wave of stuff on Iran not that long ago.
Yeah.
But it's all very vague and kind of, like I said, we had Iran's Revolutionary Guard warning neighboring countries that restraint is over and that they're going to target U.S. and partners' infrastructure and threaten to disrupt oil for years. And again, oil's back up today. It's at 115. Does oil close over 115s today? What do you guys chat? Let's do a poll here. I think this is a good option for a poll. Does WTI crude close over 115s today?
Okay, and
yes or
good
no?
morning to you too, Blaze.
Does WTI crude close over 115s today? What do you guys think?
Is WTI tracking with Brent?
Yeah, even if we're looking at U.S. futures, we can't really watch Brent like that. We could watch WTI, and usually they're pretty close in price, but a lot of the time there's a Brent premium. Right now, I think it's a little bit different, though. If we look at Brent this morning, Brent's only at 111 right now that I'm showing here. Let me make sure this is right. Yeah. So Brent crude. Brent crude is actually less than WTI futures are. WTI futures, again, currently almost at 115s right now, 114. If we take a look at Brent crude here this morning, Brent crude is at just about 111. Just about 111. Okay. So here's Brent right here, if we want to look at it. But again, there's geopolitical disruptions and just stuff going on.
Yeah, so not a huge disparity.
It's not, but it's definitely different than what we've seen recently. You know, a lot of the time, Brent crude, because of all the conflict stuff going on, has a larger spread and just has more upside. There's a gap between Brent. So again, normally Brent crude trades $3 to $7 above WTI, but right now WTI is above Brent. Again, Brent is the global seaborne benchmark, right? So it reflects oil that moves through tankers internationally, which are most affected by global supply disruptions like the Strait of Hormuz stuff. WTI is U.S. landlocked benchmark, so it reflects oil that comes out of the ground in Texas and the Permian, gets pipelined to Cushing, and traditionally more insulated from Middle Eastern conflicts and stuff like that. But under normal conditions, Brent should be above WTI because the international benchmark carries more risk, especially right now. During some parts of this,
surprised to see it flip.
Yeah, like, and during some parts of this conflict, it was $12 to $18 over WTI. One of the reasons is that like Asian buyers are pulling U.S. crude heavily. So Hormuz disrupted, and now Kharg Island, Asian refiners like Japan, South Korea, Thailand, India, China can't get their normal Middle Eastern supply, and so they have one major alternative, which is U.S. crude. There were earlier reports that showed Asian refiners bought around 60 million barrels of U.S. crude for April delivery alone. That's a huge incremental demand for it. So, U.S. is the next exporter now. The president also saying he's going to take Iran's oil. You know, he publicly said he's considering taking the oil, and the U.S. military will hit energy infrastructure. But Brent's been kind of, like, you can see it move this morning here as well. Like, look at Brent. So Brent, same thing this morning, where Brent started to dip prior to this news about Kharg Island. And then the news about Kharg Island hit, and Brent popped all the way back up to almost 111s now. So Brent's moving. A lot of traders are covering their a lot of traders are covering their shorts on WTI. There's also strategic petroleum reserve dynamic as well. But yeah, Brent's the world's oil price. WTI is America's oil price. But weird market, man. All right, looking at our poll, I asked people, does WTI crude close over 115 today? 81% say yes, it does. I think what they learned is...
What do you think?
Regarding oil?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the deadline is approaching, and so if we don't get any de-escalating, if we don't get any de-escalation news, I think oil might continue rising heading into the deadline. I think if obviously in this news market that we have right now, it could go the other way. Like, we could get a complete reversal of that sentiment, and then instead start to kind of get de-escalating news. It just depends. The president starts tweeting, whether good and bad, that could move markets. And so I think it will probably close over 115, considering it's at 115 now. But again, that would assume we're going to have a more escalation or less. No de-escalating news, essentially. And I'm also seeing news that electricity supply was disrupted, according to reports. So, but yeah, here's the S&P 500. Look at the S&P 500. It's still breaking down here. I wonder if there's some good short ideas. We are breaking down. It's at 66.15 right now. Make sure you guys can see. Yeah. So here's the S&P 500. It is breaking down. Here's the NASDAQ. NASDAQ is falling down as well. We're at a big support level as well. I think 24. This level has some confirmation too. What happens? But look at the NASDAQ break. 24 190s, under 24 200s now in the NASDAQ. It is falling down as we speak.
A very taxing news cycle the last month or so.
It really is, dude. Like, I usually cover news. Like, we cover breaking news, but most of the time it's like stock finance news.
That news,
yeah, it's kind of taking a back seat, and I don't really like it. I really don't like it, obviously. I mean, I would much rather cover economic data, but this is what moves markets right now. The trends change in terms of what moves markets. Sometimes, like I said, it's economic data. Sometimes it's Jerome Powell. Right now, it's this conflict. And so it's definitely a more stressful cycle of news, and it's more volatile, right? Like, you don't know what's going to happen to markets short term. It can kind of, now it's moving. It's moving. And again, earlier we had the Qatar Foreign Ministry spokesperson say it's premature to discuss financial mechanism for the Strait of Hormuz until it reopens first.
I'm sorry, you cut out on that last.
Oh, did I?
Just for me.
Yeah, so Qatar Foreign Ministry spokesperson says it's premature to discuss financial mechanisms for the Strait of Hormuz until it reopens first.
Okay.
Experience is telling me to take the day off and stay away from this crazy market. Yeah, no, I mean, I get it, brother. I get it, man. It's kind of a crazy market. It really is kind of crazy. I would just be careful trading this. I mean, we're gonna trade today, of course. We've honestly been on a roll day trading. We've had, let me see how many. Let's see. Yeah, we haven't had a bunch. We've had 4 green days this month, or no, 3 green days out of 4. And the loss we took this month was very small. It was actually our loss was smaller. Our losing day was smaller than all our winning days, so that's good. And we do have some Fed members speaking today. If we take a look at yields, let's take a look at yields. You can kind of see some whether we're escalating or not in the context of yields. But yields have been a little uncertain as well. I think we're heading into the big data aspect of the week. You know, tomorrow we have the Fed minutes report. Thursday, we have GDP and PCE data. Friday, we have CPI, inflation data, and more. So we're heading into the more influential part of this week. But yields have basically been flat for the last few days here. Since the month started, yields have they've gone up and down, but 10-year treasuries, you can see, are at 4.34%. One of the interesting things, if we take a look at it, that has been going on is in terms of interest rate cut sentiment. So here is the odds of interest rate cuts. If we go all the way up to December, and remember, we are at 3.5 to 3.75. If we go to December, there is currently still 77% chance that we cut no interest rates this year. 77% chance as of now that we do not do any cuts. And this is, again, for December. Which means that by the end of the year, there is a 77% chance we cut no interest rates this year. And so at this point in time, markets are not looking at much easing this year. We'll have to see what Jerome Powell says. Obviously, we have another FOMC meeting at the end of this month. But again, we're not cutting rates then, almost certainly. Right now, the odds of a rate cut this month in April are not even on the table. There's a 2.6% chance we raise rates and a 97% chance, 97.5% chance we pause rates again. If we take a look at odds makers here, in terms of everything, really, there's a 75% chance of a ceasefire by the end of the year, 56% chance of a ceasefire by the end of June. There is a 32% chance that by June 30th, according to odds makers here, Kharg Island is no longer under Iranian control. And if we look at actual finance news, there is an 86% chance, or no, there's an 80% chance crude oil hits 120, WTI crude. There's a 24% chance of pricing in of 1 rate cut this year. In order to get a rate cut, we'd have to have weak jobs and low inflation. But again, we're heading into the, what's up, Universal Code? Up, white chocolate. I hope we abandon this conflict like how Brit abandoned us on Friday. I agree.
Yep. I should just take a leaf out of my book.
Yeah, that's right.
Out of my book, sorry.
Yeah, a leaf. Yeah, you might have leaves in your book. You know.
Well, I think I was doing a mixed metaphor there. I don't know what the other one was.
I can't say I haven't done it. Jobs are flying. Inflation is good enough. Well, I mean, we haven't really seen the inflation from this conflict yet. You know, like the inflation we get on Friday this week, CPI inflation, headline inflation is what you want to watch. And again, if we look at headline inflation, they're expecting it to jump up basically a full percentage point. So headline inflation comes out on Friday. They're expecting it to jump up to 3.3%. It was at 2.4% for last month. This month, they're looking at 3.3% for March. The month-over-month reading for CPI data is expected to go up to 0.9%. Last time was 0.3%. So it's expected to 3x. And so headline inflation is including energy price swings. And that's why it's expected to jump up. Core is expected to go up slightly, but not that much.
Yeah, I prefer the index that includes energy prices. I just think it's smart to go by that.
Sure, yeah. But in the Fed's mind, they like to look at core a lot because core, they say it's just more accurate. Who knows?
Maybe. What's gold doing today?
Gold is basically flat, and it's been flat since Sunday's open. Had a big swing at the end of last week, but gold is basically flat right now. It just hasn't really. Again, I think markets are just getting used to some of this conflict. Bitcoin is back under 70. It's at 68.5, but here's Bitcoin right here. Bitcoin still, man, Bitcoin has been at the same range for a minute now, hasn't it? We zoom out and put up like a yearly chart or daily chart. Yeah, so Bitcoin has been in this little range here really since February. It's been between 75 and 65 really. It's gone down under those numbers a couple times, maybe over them for a little while as well. But I'm going to ask this again to the chat here. Does the president follow through with its deadline? It does look like Iran is going to concede. And so does the president follow through with his 8 p.m. deadline? What do you guys think?
I think it's hard to really predict, but I do think that he'll probably follow through personally.
Yeah. I mean, and again, if that situation, I think we will get oil obviously higher. I do see some reports here that I'm showing the U.S. didn't intentionally target Kharg Island landing docks, and that the U.S. targets include bunkers, radar stations, and ammo storage. And I think what we're gonna see is we're gonna see comments regarding this continue here. But yeah, I'm seeing this was reported less than 10 minutes ago that the targets that the U.S. hit on Kharg include bunkers, radar stations, and ammunition stores. That landing docks were not intentionally targeted and only would have been struck if they fired something next to them, according to a senior U.S. official who spoke on a news station. So yeah, I see that. I think this is the U.S. trying to say, hey, this wasn't an infrastructure attack. This was a military attack. This was targeting, military targets, is what they're trying to say here. And maybe that's in response to some of the criticisms that people have had regarding some of these attacks so far. To be honest, it doesn't seem like, again, this is a public perception war, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I think both sides are going to say that what's the most favorable thing to them. But again, we did get news that the U.S. apparently, according to them, the U.S. didn't target Kharg Island landing docks intentionally.
Yeah, there may have been some collateral damage, but like you said, it was meant to be a military operation, targeting military installations.
Yeah. And now we're seeing that American interests in the UAE and Kuwait are under fire. So we'll see what oil does in the wake of all this stuff going on. Here's silver. If you want to look at silver, silver's flat too with gold. Here's oil, WTI. Oil's still moving up. It's almost at 115s right now. So WTI crude almost back up to 115s.
I don't know why. I just like looking at silver and gold.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it a couple times a day. It just sometimes it's flat, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
Pop this out. All right. ADP today. Oh, we do have ADP today. You're right. It is Tuesday. We have some ADP jobs report, and we're gonna cover it. We'll see what happens.
What's ADP stand for?
I believe it's automatic data processing. It's a payroll processor.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's a payroll processor. So what ADP does is every week they release a jobs report on jobs numbers. So we get a little bit of discovery on what jobs do week to week, or on average every week. And then once a month, which was last week, they released what's called the monthly jobs report by ADP, the monthly employment, what they call it. Now the weekly report does not have much influence at all. And in this current market, even the monthly one didn't really do too much. So.
Okay, cool. Thanks. I was just curious what it meant.
No, you're good. Yeah. Yeah, the last one, I'm trying to look at this. Showed what for jobs? 10,000 jobs? Which was last Wednesday, I believe. No, last Wednesday was the first. Some big banks are now suggesting that gold could go up to 7,000 a year. Wait, all they need to do.
Much?
Yeah, you say gold could go up to 7K an ounce within a year.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, look, what you got to understand about banks, though, is that sometimes, just like crypto, they give these wild targets that nobody really expects them to hit. You know, like at the end of last year, they were like, oh, Bitcoin could hit 300K, a million by the end of 2025. They ended up closing at like 70 or 80, but, you know, banks will be banks.
You think that was just to try to get people to buy it to drive the price up, or?
I mean, I think it could happen. I think it's just giving a potential, if that makes sense. Like, I think gold could go up that high, but we need the right kind of Goldilocks conditions for that to happen. And so maybe gold goes up that high, but maybe it doesn't, you know? I guess my point is, just because a bank is saying it doesn't necessarily make it true. And sometimes banks try to pad their own positions. They do a lot of stuff. It could happen, though. Under the right circumstances, under the right conditions, we could see $7,000+ an ounce for gold. Or we could see gold continue to correct back down here. Gold, again, currently at 4,700s, 4,600s. So,
yeah, I thought they just might be trying to affect like consumer sentiment, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of everything, to be honest, for this type of stuff. Yeah, we do have the ADP data today. I completely forgot. Let's see what we get. I don't know if it's going to move markets. What's up?
Oh, I was just going to, honestly, I mean, it's kind of apropos, I guess, but not really. I was just going to say, like, in terms of long-term jobs numbers and creations, I wonder how much of this, like, 18 or 20 trillion dollars worth of promised investments we're actually going to see in terms of economic growth.
Yeah, I mean, we might see some of it. What a lot of people are worried about right now in jobs, and a lot of people argue that this is what's been negatively affecting jobs, is AI. You know, they're going to say AI is replacing the need for certain workers, and I think we're going to continue to see trends like this for the next 15, 20 years until the market really gets used to AI. And during that period of time as well, I think the market's also going to continue to see more and more jobs get replaced by AI. I think AI is going to, you know, I have to look at it versus what it is today versus what it was 3 or 4 years ago. And at this point in time, AI replaces a lot of stuff. And I think we're going to continue to see that trend over the next 10 or 15 years. I think we're going to see AI implanted into robotics is what I was trying to say. And then I think that's going to start to, not even just necessarily humanoid robots like Bicentennial Man or Terminator, but more so like just
assembly line robots and things like that.
Yeah, assembly line, manufacturing robots. I think we're going to see AI implemented more and more in that. And I think it's going to continue to replace jobs, obviously. I think this is very clear. This is very obvious. And yeah, people are going to be upset, but it's also going to create some jobs as well. So I think it's somewhere in the middle. But I think the net effect short term is going to be negative in terms of jobs. Obviously,
I think so. I think so too. I think like one of the last bastions of human employment is going to be, to be honest, blue collar jobs. Like I think the place where people are really going to make a lot of money is in, like, as electricians and plumbers and things that robots just can't do yet.
Right. No, 100%. I agree. I think there's a lot of trades that are safer than, tech or anything else right now in terms of jobs. I think those will eventually get replaced as well, to be honest, but not in the same way. I think plumbers are pretty safe for a while. Welders will eventually get replaced by AI as well. It might take a little bit more time, but.
Well, I was gonna say the hard part, like in fab shops, yes, like those will be the first ones to go in terms of welding, but you'll still have like welders out in the field, like spot welding and welding in pipe racks and things like that. Like those will take a while to replace with like robotics.
Right, 100%. Yeah, 100%. But eventually, that's gonna happen as well.
Oh, it will. It will. I think it'll probably take 15 or 20 years, personally.
Right.
I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
It's hard to predict that because technological growth is always exponential.
It depends on if we get it done first. If somebody gets it done first, then the other, with competition, others will eventually scramble to get it done, and that's when we're going to start to see that type of growth curve from it, if that makes sense. But it depends on how long it takes to get it done. Oil is ripping back up. So yeah, here's gold. Gold's still kind of quiet. Oil over 115s now. The high of the day for WTI crude is at 116.50s here. 116.50s.
I have not welded. I just know a little bit about it because my dad did welding and pipe fitting and then like API inspection work and things like that. So he's been like in the petrochemical refinement side of things for a long time.
Yeah, and look, it's definitely not one of the more natural things to get replaced short term regarding welding, but it will eventually be replaced. Angry Bob, weren't you the guy that said that AI was just a buzzword 4 or 5 years ago? I'm pretty sure you were, and that it wasn't going to be a big thing, and that markets were overpricing it short term, and that it wasn't going to be a big thing, and all this different stuff. Listen, don't get it twisted. Welding will eventually get replaced by robots. 100% it will. Now this might be in 10 years, this might be in 30, but don't get it twisted. A lot of these things are going to get replaced to a certain extent, not completely, but to a certain extent, it is definitely going to be replaced by, at least somewhat, by AI and robots. Look at oil spike here. Oil going up to 115, almost 116.
Oh.
Look at this move up. 115.50s here. 115.50s.
Oh, heck.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of confirmation bias in regards to AI. Like, people don't want to believe that AI is going to take over all these industries because it makes them feel less secure with jobs. And I get it. I truly understand. You have to look at it objectively, regardless of what you want to be the truth. And I think in this situation, looking at it objectively, it's going to take over a lot of trades. People think that trades are safe right now. They're not. They're not. Businesses, because they will find a way if it saves them money. And I think it's going to save them money to a certain extent. But I think we're still a little ways out from that. I think we got time. So your trades are still safe right now, basically.
I do too. And I think I really think short term. Like I know, skilled trades people already make a lot of money. Like I said, electricians, plumbers, HVAC people, they already make a lot of money. But I think like between a lot of other sectors being replaced with AI and the fact that we have roughly a 50% deficit in skilled tradesmen, there's going to be a lot more money to be made there, especially with the advent of rebuilding our energy sector to accommodate AI and like data centers and things like that.
No, 100% agree. So I'm looking at more news that came out. Israel said they're not part of the strikes on Kharg Island. So they say
denying.
Well, they say no. The U.S. is taking credit for it,
okay,
but the U.S. Right. Yeah, the U.S. basically said that they attacked military targets there, which bunkers, radar stations, ammunition storage, and then Israel came out and said they're not part of the strikes. They said that the strikes were carried out solely by the U.S. I am told. This is a message to the Iranians, according to a U.S. senior official. They said if Iranian railways are being hit, it is not U.S. military hitting them, according to a U.S. military source. So, yeah, a lot. Either way, this is escalating news. We're up to 116.50s here.
I feel like everybody's playing mind games with the public. It's really hard to know who to believe and like what to trust.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, either way, it's escalating news. Those targets are getting hit, you know.
Yeah.
But because of that, we need to be careful right now. Yeah, so again, it's a public perception war right now. Look at oil, though. At the very least, oil is moving. Here's the NASDAQ. NASDAQ is, again, kind of sideways here, and we've seen this a lot. The ADP jobs report does release in about 17 minutes, 18 minutes here. My oil paper short is crap right now. I'm swinging it to fall to see how I do with my emotions. Yeah, I shorted at 96,000. Wait, do you know who said he was bringing it down? Oops. Yeah, I think the next big market moving thing in that regard, Mitt, he said, I think there'll be an opportunity to buy AI robot service time as an investment, like a business owner with workers. Yeah, no, 100%. And I think that's
Like
the next big. No, he said buy them. But basically what he's saying is I think we'll be able to buy robots that complete different like manufacturing and production tasks eventually. And I think that's true.
Yeah, probably. I thought I took it a different way. That's my bad. I thought he meant like when he said to buy AI robot service time, like as opposed to.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Itself.
You're
Yeah.
actually right. That's probably what he meant. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought he meant like leasing drill bits. You know?
That's what it sounds like. Yeah. It sounds like he's talking about like you will be able to buy a specific amount of time with these robots to get production done within, for a set price. No, and that makes sense as well. All right, guys. NASDAQ is pretty flat here, though. NASDAQ is basically sideways. So we have not really moved over the last hour of price action here on the end. And really over the last 5, 10, 45 minutes, we are even smaller in range here. So, but one thing that is moving again is oil today on more potential escalating in conflict. Here's oil. Oil up to almost 115.60s here. Or over 115.60s. Here's the high of the day on WTI crude. We extend this to the left here. So here's the high of the day. We are approaching this level now for oil. Wake me up when a bot can actually do dishes. I don't know. I think it's going to be earlier than 30 years. That's more complex task than people realize for a robot. But yeah.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you have a lot more physical manipulation of things than you would think, and
No.
and it's fine motor skills, and so that's going to be the last thing to go, I think.
No, for sure. 100%. I think we're going to have robot welders well before we have robot dishwashers. No way. All right. So again, we're at 116s.
Everybody says it's called a dishwasher.
Yeah. But it's not a robot,
Not yet.
Not a robot. I guess you could, in the same way, you could call it, it's somewhere. Yeah, I get it.
It's a machine, not a robot.
Right, but again, guys, remember, the president's final deadline for Iran is officially 12 hours away. Peace talks have stalled. Oil is up. Oil is up. Peace talks have stalled.
Someone says there are robot welders. There are robot welders, but they're in like fab shops and things like that, and on lines, not out in the field.
No, 100%. Yeah, we'll see what happens, guys. We'll see what happens, but oil is elevated today. We are going to start trading here, but remember, in 15 minutes, we got the ADP jobs report. In 30 minutes, we have durable good orders coming out. Tomorrow, we have the FOMC minutes report. Thursday, we have PCE and GDP data and jobless claims. So we got a bunch of stuff dropping Thursday. Friday, we have CPI, inflation data, Michigan consumer sentiment, factory orders, and more. So it's a busy week. And again, there's more escalating news coming out. Here's oil still ripping higher. It's almost a 116. The oil's still popping. If we take a look at Nvidia here, guys, here's Nvidia. Nvidia at 175s. So Nvidia's breaking down under the lows of the day recently. NASDAQ kind of following it, testing the lows. Apple, red. Meta, red. Google, slightly red, although Google's been doing better than some. Microsoft is down under the previous closing price. AMD is red. TSM is red. Palantir is
Did you say
red.
Meta was? Sorry. I think I missed that.
That is 570s right now, but they're red on the day. Most Mag 7s are red. Netflix slightly red, Amazon slightly red. But a lot of stuff is basically flat. Some of it was green about an hour or two ago, but prior to these strikes being announced, and you can see Brent crude still rising. So Brent is over 111s right now. The Brent is over 111s. Here's Tesla. Tesla red as well, under 350s. They had the delivery numbers last week, I believe, so they're red as well.
It says humanoid robots are illogical. I don't like, as long as we don't, and I don't see why we would, as long as we don't limit, like whatever robots we build based on human biology. The form itself is not illogical. It's just about what it can physically do.
Right.
And I mean, you can always change the form. I mean, add arms or whatever, but sure. I don't think the form itself is illogical, just the limitations you place on it.
It just depends, right? The only reason they would make it humanoid versus others unnecessarily would be for the comfort of the buyer, right? Like maybe people feel more comfortable around humanoid robots, and so because of that, they end up, even when it's not necessarily more like the most practical way, they build them humanoid anyway to make people more comfortable with them originally, instead of making them a box or whatever they were going to use. So it just depends. And I think maybe we'll see that dynamic initially more heavily, just because it'll help people kind of adopt use of them a little bit easier, but still.
I agree.
Yeah, so engineers design robots for its purpose. Yeah, I agree. A robot dog, I might actually take. Give me a robot dog, dude. I'd rather a real dog. But
I'll let my robot dog if instead of like realistic barking, if it just says bark, bark. That's the only way I want one.
Yeah, I had a robot dog in the 90s. If you know, you know. Tesla at 348 right now. It's breaking down here. Here's the Nasdaq. Nasdaq at 24 ones. So I'm guessing oil's continually pushing up over 116. So yeah, oil right at 116. So oil's getting ready to break the high of the day if it continues this trend. Mine did flips. You know.
I remember those things.
Yeah, those things are cool. Actually, I don't know if I ever had one. I always wanted one. I don't think my parents ever got me one though. Maybe they were too expensive.
Yeah.
But I had friends that had them. Those little robot dogs from the 90s.
Were you green with envy?
I was, man. I was. Honestly, I didn't have an N64 for a long time. I had a Sega.
Dude, me too.
I had friends that had N64, bro, and they would play Zelda, they would play Mario, and I was just kind of like, man, dude, I am missing out on life right now without an N64. My parents used to make me like buy a system out of the classified ads in the newspaper, and then when I wanted a new system, I had to sell the current one on the classified ads in the newspaper. Capitalism thriving, and then I use that money to help them pay for the new system if they were going to get it for me, which wasn't always. Sometimes they'd be like, dude, you're stuck with the Sega, so
your parents psychologically prepared you for this job is what you're saying.
That's right. I credit everything to them. Shout out to my parents. All right, so oil hasn't broken 116s yet.
Yeah, I had an N64, like not early on, but it had a few like really great titles. It really did, but it was never good for cranking out consistent, like in my opinion, like consistently good games, like in volume.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, 100%.
But like GoldenEye, Mario, Zelda, all-time greats.
Dude, it's games great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so somebody said, what chip would you prefer in your robot? Dude, give me the T800 neural net processor. Terminator.
Oh, God.
Give me the Terminator chip, dude. Give me Arnold.
Dude, what if, I was about to say, what if you could have, like, a Terminator version like Arnold robot. Would you do it, or would you be too creeped out?
I would take T2 Arnold. He's a friend. The original Terminator Arnold, I don't know. Oh, hold on. Wait. So I think the president might have just tweeted here. Hold on. Wait.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, yes. 44 seconds ago. Honestly, I can't even repeat a lot of what's in this. He said a whole civilization will, tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. Again, I'm quoting the president, the U.S. president here. He said, however, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight. One of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran. End quote, U.S. president. Kind of a crazy tweet again, dude.
Oh my God, this is so stressful.
I know, man. And look at oil pop here. Oil is about to break highs of the day on this tweet. But, yeah.
Operation Furious tweeter.
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy tweet. This is look. It's kind of a crazy tweet. Let's see what the NASDAQ is doing on this tweet here. Yeah, NASDAQ is breaking lows of the day. I'm not surprised. We are down to 24,150 here. Will he follow through with this? Will he follow through with this? Yeah, he could. He could. Again, kind of a crazy tweet. Again, we do have the ADP jobs report dropping in about 7 minutes. I think it kind of takes a back seat to this. But we're going to cover it no matter what. And the NASDAQ did crack lows really quickly here. But again, the president said he does not want that to happen, but it probably will.
I just don't see either side backing down, and so I'm afraid it might actually happen.
Yeah, look, we'll find out tonight is what he said. He said maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen. Who knows? Find out tonight. It sounds like one of it sounds like one of those news one of those cliffhangers, like one of those trailers for another episode.
It totally does.
Find out tonight at 8 p.m.,
Later on, insert name here.
Right. No, that's what it sounds like. Man. The president just tweeted. Yeah, we'll see what ADP shows here. ADP data drops in 5 minutes here. 5 minutes. Delta Airline is reportedly increasing check bag fees.
Was it on X or Truth, and it just got retweeted on X?
It's on Truth and just got retweeted. Everything he says, basically, you got to think about it. Like, he owns a piece of Truth, right?
Yeah.
So he's gonna be posting on there.
I just didn't know if it had made it to X yet.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying Taco Tuesday. Well, he taco on this. Again, remember, taco stands for Trump always chickens out. I'm not saying I agree with it or disagree with it, but people have latched onto that abbreviation. And will he taco on this tweet?
I don't know.
We'll see. I think people... Or go ahead.
Go ahead. No, it wasn't important. Go ahead.
I just said I think markets are kind of getting used to this type of thing. He did say a wonderful thing can happen with the new regime. Maybe something revolutionary, wonderful can happen. Who knows? Make sure he hadn't tweeted again here. But yeah, this was 4 minutes ago. The NASDAQ definitely reacted negatively here and then kind of bounced back higher. Oil is still pretty close to highs of the day. I assume we're going to break these highs of the day. I don't necessarily know if... find out in the next episode. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I get from this. All right, so we're up to 116.20s.
It just makes me think of next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Yeah, we did a poll earlier. Looking at the numbers on the poll, we asked people, does WTI crude close over 115 today? We are at 116.20s as of today. Later on, 60 minutes. Yeah, that's right, Sarge.
Yeah.
78% say WTI crude does close over 115. I have to agree with you, but I think it's very variance heavy here. I think it depends. If we get some type of like communication in regards to like a ceasefire or anything like that, as we approach this deadline, I mean, obviously oil can turn the other way quickly here. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's safe. At this point in time, if you're trying to trade oil, I think you have to look at the odds of de-escalation happening before the deadline. And I think there's a chance that we get some de-escalation before the deadline. I don't know if it's the majority chance, or the majority outcome, the most probable outcome, but I think there's a chance. Oil, though, is right at the highs of the day. It's at 116.36 here for WTI crude, 116.36.
I think we should redo the poll since this latest tweet.
Well,
I mean, I don't actually mean redo it, but I mean, I think it's definitely going to close over 115 now.
You never know. Again, I think
that was just what I think.
Yeah, you're good. I think there's a chance the other side could happen to de-escalation. Maybe it's just because I want de-escalation to happen.
So.
Yeah.
I hope you're right.
I think there's a chance, but I also think that going by historical trends so far in this conflict, it's not looking good.
No.
But I think there's... All right, so look, we're right at the highs of the day here. ADP data is about to drop in about 2 minutes here. We'll cover the ADP data when it comes out, the jobs report from ADP. It's the weekly jobs report, so unless it comes out at a big negative number or something like that, I don't know how much it will move markets regarding the ADP report in a minute or so. But we're going to cover it nonetheless, despite everything going on. Yeah, it drops in about 1 minute here. 1 minute for the ADP report.
I love the Idiocracy quote, Max. I love that movie.
That's a great movie.
Extra big talk. I just love like the second part of the Carl's Jr. thing. It's like Carl's Jr. has deemed you an unfit mother. Carl's Jr. will now take possession of your children.
Yeah, it has electrolytes. You know,
got what plants crave.
Yeah. All right, guys, we got right up close to that 116.50s level, 116.15 level. All right, ADP jobs report drops in 30 seconds here, guys. 30 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. We will be covering this when it drops. Again, put it in 2x speed. We will be covering this when it drops. All right, so here we go. It drops in about 5 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. This is the weekly employment numbers here. The weekly employment numbers. Again, in 15 minutes, we do have durable goods orders going live. So let's see what we show here. And here's the report right now. So the report is out. I don't really see much movement here. But the report is out right now. ADP servers are still slow, but still waiting. Yeah, the ADP numbers... 26,000 versus 10,000 previously. So they did show up at 26K versus 10K previously. I do expect odds to I do expect yields to fall down, or no, to go up a little bit on this report. I'm sorry. So yeah, we showed up at 26,000, stronger than the 10,000 previously. So they did show up kind of strong here on these job numbers right now. Yeah, so look, here's the numbers right here. 26,000 versus 10,000 previously. The NASDAQ is going down some on this report. But again, 26,000 versus 10,000 previously.
What were the predicted numbers?
These don't really have a prediction. They just go by previously. It's a smaller report, right? So this isn't a huge jobs report.
So it's too close together to really make predictions, basically.
Right. It's a news report.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, so I've already seen the new statement by the president on Truth, Devon. So we've already covered it. Look at the oil prices fall here, though. So unless there's another one that I'm missing here, which I don't see it. Yeah, markets... Again, I expect yields to go up on this report. Just because this report shows stronger jobs numbers than expected. Look at the NASDAQ turn here, though. Wow. And again, we do have durable good orders going live in about 15 minutes. Durable goods going live 15 minutes. See what happens, but durable good orders going live soon. Look at the
What's
Nasdaq
that?
tumble down here. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see a new tweet or anything like that. I just see the ADP report. All right, so I see U.S. officials state that the strikes on Kharg Island in the early morning hours, Tuesday Eastern Time, were not directed at oil infrastructure, but were, quote, restrikes on military targets that were hit previously. So that's what I'm showing right now. Maybe that's driving this down on maybe less escalating. I told you guys they were trying to claim military targets earlier. But again, a U.S. official tells Axios' Ravid that strikes on Kharg Island were restrikes on military targets that were hit previously and not on infrastructure, basically. This is making oil fall down right now to 115s. If we take a look at yields right now. Take a look at yields, actually. Yields are moving a little bit from ADP, but not a ton, to be honest. Again, we do have durable good orders.
What else under the umbrella of durable goods?
Like cars.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Basically, it's as the name suggests. Like transportation equipment, aircrafts, automobiles, machinery, computers, defense equipment. Capital goods, transportation, defense goods, consumer durables like washers, refrigerators, furniture, electronics. Whoa, look at this drop here. So look at the oil come all the way back down to under 115 now.
Man. Did something else happen, I wonder?
I don't see any new tweets. People are saying new tweets, but I think it's probably the tweet regarding Kharg Island. So JD Vance on Iran says very shortly this war will conclude. The military objectives of the Iran war have been completed. There are two pathways. So JD Vance is speaking right now as part of it. But again, he said that very shortly this war will conclude. And again, we do have durable goods. Yeah, we do have durable goods. Look at this big pullback. Yeah, but I think most of this drop in oil is from either Vance comments or the comments from Axios saying that the strikes were military strikes. I told you guys earlier that that's what this was, though. That's what they were claiming it was. Again, it's all public perception. They either that's what happened or that's what they want people to believe. I think they would much rather people believe like, hey, these strikes were on military targets, but like, oops, we hit infrastructure too. I think that's a better story for them as well. But again, Axios coming out saying a U.S. official is telling them that that strikes on Kharg Island were restrikes on military targets that were hit previously. So maybe just like a warning shot there, I guess. Put more pressure on them is what it seems like to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was curious if the how much, if any, collateral damage there was on like non-military targets.
Yeah, no, I do agree with some of these people in the chat here. Vance is still speaking. He said, "We hope Iran is smart." He said, "Very shortly, this war will conclude. Two pathways, military objectives of Iran have been completed. Very shortly, this war will conclude." And that we struck more than 50 military targets on Kharg. Here's the problem, is that they've said this over and over and over again. When Trump did the speech the other day, the address at night, he said the war was almost over as well. But then after this, we do hear more escalating things here. So the price of oil is not necessarily buying it. The price of oil is at 115s now. And so, yeah, it's one of those situations where I think the market is no longer trusting the quotes regarding the price of when you look at the price of oil, the market is no longer trusting the quotes that the conflict is almost over. Because we've seen it happen so much where, like, one of the dynamics that we're seeing from this conflict is that somebody comes out, whether it's, Hegseth, whether it's Vance, whether it's the president, and they say, hey, the war's almost over, it's done. Markets celebrate. They're like, yes, good. Markets go up, oil goes down, and then within a few days, more escalation happens. you know. And then when you kind of read the history of all the posts and the public comments and the public things said about the conflict, you know, them saying the conflict is almost over versus what we actually see in the news is contradicting itself. So it's contradicting each other. So yeah, let's take a look at gold here. Here's gold. Gold up to 46.90s right now for gold. So 46.90s. And we do have durable goods in 8 minutes. They're durable good orders, 8 minutes. We'll see what we get for that. But yeah, WTI crude is over 116. It's been over 116 for the last like 20 minutes. Or no, it's not anymore. So here's WTI crude. The WTI crude was over 116s after the either Vance or the Axios comments about them being only military strikes has made oil dip down a little bit. And so that's kind of what we're seeing now. We did get the ADP data simultaneously with some of this news that came out too. So maybe the market's pricing in like stronger jobs and stuff, but so again, U.S. Vice President Vance says Kharg doesn't represent change in the strategy of the conflict. But again, he also reiterated the deadline is 8 p.m. tonight. So again, Vance reiterated the deadline is at 8 p.m. tonight. And he said Kharg Island doesn't represent change in strategy. Yeah, Dave, I am going to ban you if that's not true. And I don't think it's true because I think we'd see a lot bigger dips in oil and a lot bigger moves up in the NASDAQ here. So it doesn't look like that's true at all. He said we will get a response by around at 8 p.m. tonight. Yeah, markets are moving on fundamentals. Yeah, I'm going to ban Dave probably here. Again, I'll give him a little time, but I don't think. Dave, you get nothing. Vance said Iranians have not been the fastest negotiators, and they still are not. Yeah, everybody say goodbye to Dave here. Someone said oil is going to 100.
Unless you want to.
Yeah, so yeah, where's your source, Dave? You better spit that sources out. He said someone said oil is going to 100. Somebody saying oil might be going to 100 is different from somebody saying a ceasefire has happened. You know? So.
Yeah, because you're stating it as a fact.
Yeah, you better spit that source out, sir. Yeah.
Cite material.
The chat's like, they're loving this. They're like, bye, Dave.
later,
yeah, this is like Gladiator, right? Gladiator. Dave? Where's Dave? You know? No?
Dave's
no, Dave?
Dave's not here, man. For anybody who didn't get that, it's a Cheech and Chong reference.
I'll put him in timeout for 30 minutes instead. Dave is a bot. There he goes. You get nothing, Dave. Goodbye, sir. You know. All right, guys. 5 minutes until durable goods. 5 minutes. This is Sparta. That's right.
Someone said back to Wendy's.
Dave's double. Dave's doubles are good, man. All right. Dave also said Iran has a 14 million population, but it's 93 million actually. Is this bull bear? Dave's gone. Yeah, sit in the corner and think about what you've done, Dave. All right. 24,233s right now. Okay, so look, I did get Reuters reporting, citing two Pakistani sources. Said contact with Iran continues with efforts underway to bring both sides to talks. Watch Dave be right this whole time. Again, Pakistan reporting from Reuters, with Reuters saying contact with Iran continues, efforts underway to bring both sides to talks. All right, guys. Durable good orders in 14 minutes. I don't think durable goods is actually going to move the market, but it might. It might. Honestly, ADP data mixed with breaking news could have moved things a little bit more. Also, a Pakistani security official states that Pakistan will support Saudi Arabia under a defense agreement if the conflict intensifies, and that Iran shows willingness to negotiate but continues to demand preconditions. Yeah, Broadcom is expanding a partnership with Google and Anthropic as well. But
Someone said stream Hexeth at 9. Is Hexeth speaking at 9 o'clock?
I don't. I wouldn't. I mean,
No, I know.
I think it's possible. You know.
Yeah, I'm not talking about actually streaming. I'm just curious as to whether or not he's actually speaking.
Yeah, I don't know. Even if he does, I don't know if I'm gonna stream it.
No,
Hexath
no,
basically.
That.
Yeah, like Hexath, you just gotta understand the dynamic. Hexath is only gonna say good things, and so if you think maybe that's gonna happen, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's doing a brief. Yeah, I mean, overseas conflicts just taking up a lot of steam here on the, you know, with everything. Yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily distrusting GP here. He's a cheerleader. That's right. Yeah, he's gonna say good things, of course. My ping pong rival is here.
I guess, but
I've got skills. That's all I'm saying. Love you. Have a good day. Hey, dude. How you doing, bud? Good day, dude. All right, guys. Durable goods coming out in about 2 minutes here. 2 minutes for durable goods. I don't know if they're gonna move markets. I really don't.
Why does everybody think your office looks like a kitchen? I don't think that.
The wood background right here.
Although you could convert it into a kitchen and just make breakfast while you're streaming economic data.
I know. You know, a previous nickname I've given myself is the Cook of Wall Street. You know, so great name. But yeah, a Pakistani security official says Iran signals flexibility on talks, but still pushes preconditions. And I don't know if we're going to agree to those conditions. You know, again, this is happening before the conflict. Durable goods drops in 1 minute, guys. But this was happening before the conflict, where we tried to meet with Iran a couple different times, and it was basically like, we're like, hey, Iran, you got to get rid of your enrichment program. And Iran was basically like, nah, dude, we're not getting rid of our enrichment program. You can babysit us, basically, but we're not getting rid of it. And that's where the disconnect is. And so I don't know if we're going to, you know, I don't know if they're going to agree on those things.
I don't think we will.
Yeah, personally. And now with the Strait of Hormuz, that's a big thing. I don't think we're going to agree with how they're running the strait either, necessarily. I'm not saying we should or shouldn't. I'm just saying I don't think the U.S. is going to come to agreement with. Here's oil. So oil tapping 114s. All right, 15 seconds before durable good orders drop. Again, 15 seconds. Let's see what we get. But 15 seconds, durable good orders expected at 0.5% month over month for core and negative 1.1% for headline. Here they go, 5, 4. Hit the live button next to the play button, put it into XP. Negative 1.1 expected. Durable goods ended up showing up at negative 1.4. Weaker durable good orders than expected. Again, I don't think this is going to move markets here, but weaker durable goods than expected. Again, durable goods ended up showing up at negative 1.4 versus negative 1.1 expected. They also revised the last one more negative at negative 0.5%, but core durable goods did show up at 0.8% versus 0.5%. So a little bit stronger core durable goods month over month, weaker headline durable goods at negative 1.4%. But like I said, I don't think it's going to move markets. You know, those hugs and telling your kids, yeah, I mean, look, my kids are good kids, you know. Great kids, even. My daughter and I have been, yeah, they're good kids. My daughter's actually getting really good at ping pong too, to a point where I feel like she's gonna pass me up pretty soon. February data not interesting to markets. Yeah, like I said, I don't think this is gonna move markets, and it didn't really. It didn't really move anything. Yeah, that tweet was crazy. To be honest, anti-war. You know, and I think in situations like this, you can do these things, but not be so vocal about it. You know, like move silently, carry a big stick. Right, exactly. I think I think you can do that, but I also think there's strategy in play here. I think he's hoping that with all these threats, they are going to be more quick. They're going to more quickly come to the table. But yeah, I'm showing market update that crude oil futures have seen a modest pullback following reports that contact with Iran continues. A mild uptick seen in stocks and bonds. Downside to the dollar index. And here's oil, though. It is right at the 200 exponential at 114.40s, and we did just get a bounce back up here.
I think with a different adversary, he might be right, but I think he might be underestimating like commitment level.
Yeah, I have no idea. You know, yeah, I think Iran's gonna. Yeah, I think there's a disconnect in terms of the conditions to end it. You know,
I think
and
so too. I think you're probably right.
Yeah, and I think that disconnect continues. You know, so. Yeah, oil currently at 114s, at 115s. What do you guys think here? When do you guys think this conflict ends? I've asked this question a lot. We did a poll earlier, just WTI close over 115. When do you guys think this conflict ends?
I still say between 1 and 2 months from now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. 2 weeks? I hope so. June? This week?
I mean, that would be nice, but...
yeah, I hope you're right. I really do. I don't know if I'll buy it. I don't think it does, man. You don't think it ever ends? 1 to 2 months from here? All right, so Feds Williams is speaking right now. He thinks Iran will go directly into headline inflation given energy.
I think that...
years and years never ends after tonight. Sorry, Brett, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think that... I think it'll be within a month or two, and I think part of the reason for that is because of like ramifications, possible ramifications in upcoming elections. You know.
Yeah, that's the pressure for sure. And again, you can see Feds Williams predicts inflation will be around 2.75% this year. 3 more months after oil hits 190. I think oil is going to drive it. I think high oil worldwide is going to put pressure on both sides to end it. You know, I think both sides are going to get pressure. And so neither one of them are necessarily wanting those super high prices. It negatively impacts all of them. And so I think oil is going to be the pressure maker here with this type of stuff. I think the worldwide standard being so high, nobody's going to like it. And the world moves on oil, you know.
Yes, it does. Like it or not.
Yeah, speaking of oil back up to 115s here. We're going to start trading here, though, guys. You guys have, this week so far, it's only been a couple days, but are y'all red or green? I'm green. You know, let me know what you guys are, red or green. Look at that 200 exponential, bro. That level has just been working here. Also, guys, if you haven't already, you want to help support your boy here on this channel, check out Apex. Apex has their 90% off sale. It ends Thursday. It's Tuesday today. The Apex 90% off sale ends Thursday. All right, so again, the cheapest accounts, they recently added much better options for traders here. They recently changed their whole platform. They have end-of-day drawdown options, which end-of-day drawdown options are just better. It gives you more room per day. No payout denials, no MAE rule, no 5-1 risk reward rule, built-in scaling, 50% consistency once you're funded. So reasonable rules here, guys. And again, if you look at the cheapest accounts under this 90%, it's $19.90. If you use my coupon code BGT or BT or BG, you can use on Apex, but BGT. If you want the end of day drawdown option, it's $30 basically, reasonable. And so check them out. A great way to learn how to day trade. Most day traders lose money. So again, if you fund your own account thousands, you're probably going to lose. Let's just be real here. It just makes more sense to try this. And again, most day traders do lose money. And so limiting your risk, learning to trade in this environment, and then if you pass it, you get a 90% split anyway. That just makes sense here. It gives you kind of a middle ground of pressure. It's not pure paper where it doesn't mean anything. It's not a full like live account where, you know, you're risking a lot more. It's somewhere in the middle and learning, and you know, you can make money and take payouts under this environment. I think it just makes sense. Here's the link. Check it out. Great way to help support the channel. We'll put the link up in chat and we'll pin it to the top of the page. They are an affiliate of mine. I am biased, of course, because I get paid by them, but it's genuinely useful in my opinion. Check it out. There's the link. I'll pin it to the chat. We are no longer working with Top Step bread. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna go too into it, Chris. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's too much of a disconnect here. So we're in this high volume area right here on the volume profile. If you look at it, like here's the high volume area. And so because of that, we could range like this. If we break down under here, I might take a short. If we break out over this 200 exponential and hold, maybe I'll take a short long up to maybe like here is what I'm looking at. But I have to kind of wait for that type of move here. Again, Al Mayadeen is reporting, citing sources, that communication with Iran is ongoing and intensive efforts are being made to bring both sides to the table.
So when you say volume, is that indicating like trade volume at that price?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's just buyers and sellers.
Okay.
Like the higher these lines, the more volume is going through at that specific price point. What the volume profile is just volume. And so the low volume areas are sometimes like when the volume is lower, sometimes you can trend and move more quickly through it because there's less buyers and sellers to stop it, right? Whenever the volume is high, that means there's more balance. So a lot of the time, you can chop. Once you get out of those levels, is what a lot of people use. That's when you can kind of go quickly through those levels.
So at the high volume levels, it trends more sideways. Is that what you're saying?
Right, and you also have a lot of traders that watch these areas as well. That means like there's just lines of buyers and sellers here. If you look at some of these really high volume nodes, it just means that a lot of people are paying attention to those specific levels as well.
Okay, thanks. I just want to know what I was looking at.
There's no discount code for Chart Prime, but if you want to check out Chart Prime, they're great as well.
Who's the invisible commentator? It's me.
It's my conscience.
Superhero name.
Yeah, it's you.
Yeah, the invisible commentator.
Yeah, and again, we're kind of in that high volume area. We started to break down under 200 is where I'm looking at a potential here. I kind of missed. Here's the 200 exponential, and you can see why I like this 200 EMA level. Because markets just pay attention to it on the short-term perspective. Markets just watch it. And so we will see what we get, but markets just watch these levels here. I gotta wait for my setup, so if we get some breakdowns.
And no, Brian, my name is Britt. I'm a friend of John's.
It's actually Brick, B-R-I-C-K. But, we'll allow the first turn. Is it Brick or Brit, chat?
More specifically, which one is actually my real name? I'm gonna be offended if you guys don't get it right.
Blurry, as they call them. No discount code for Sharp Prime. Oh. All right, guys. Yeah, look at that range slow. This is what we mean. Like, once you get to this really high volume area, you have balance between buys and sells, so you kind of chop sideways. Again, we start to break down under this 200 level. I will probably jump at a short. I haven't traded at all today, but we'll probably jump at a short if we can. Also, you can use coupon code BGT for Lucid, Tradeify. Take Profit has kind of the best beginner rules, in my opinion. Lucid, great direct-to-funded option. You can go direct-to-fund on Lucid, and it's pretty cheap comparatively. Also, just decent rules on Lucid as well. So I like Lucid as the best mix of everything good. Take Profit, best rules for beginners, some of the more relaxed rules. Tradeify is great direct-to-funded option as well. And Apex is probably the cheaper accounts, right? But they've updated their rules as well to be more relaxed and more direct. So a lot of good things from all of those. But again, coupon code BGT. Let me know what it stands for. It's definitely not beginner trading. We are starting to break down here. We'll see if we can get under 24,200. Oil's back to 115s. Brick Lesnar.
I wish. Brick Lesnar, Brock's older, stronger, better brother.
Yeah, that's right. Dude, he was fun to watch in the UFC when he was there.
Well, he was so dynamic, man. I mean, I think he was like 35 when he got in, and he was a 300-pound man that moved like he was 180 pounds.
No, he really did. And honestly, the UFC has still been trying to find like a replacement for Brock. Like they tried CM Punk. I'm pretty sure I could beat up CM Punk realistically.
Dude, he was terrible.
Right? He was just not good at all. You know, I don't know what he was thinking, bro. Like he's gonna start learning MMA at 36. Dude, you better sit out. You're going in there with some killers. You know,
not just that. I mean, like, it makes you wonder if he'd ever actually been in a real fight because he actually thought he could fight.
He really did, but he couldn't at all. He was terrible.
No,
you know. I wanted him to be good too. Like I wanted him to be good. You know who there's a good wrestler. What's the wrestler's name that's about to be a killer in the UFC? I don't think he's in the UFC yet.
I know the guy you're talking about. I can't think of his name. Oh God, I don't know. I can't think of it.
Chat, who am I talking about? You guys probably know. All right, so look, we're starting to break down. Here's 24 200s. I'm gonna give it a little bit of time here.
You're talking about the heavyweight, right?
Gable. I'm talking about Gable.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
Gable Stevenson. Yep, that's who I'm talking about. Yep, you're right, Raymond. He's gonna be a killer, dude. He's gonna be a killer. Yeah, that dude is gonna be legit. Yeah, chat knows. The encyclopedia of the chat, always right. All right, guys, look, we're starting to break down here. We're at 24 200s.
I wonder if he was named for Dan Gable. Sorry.
I don't know. He's just got both. He's got striking and wrestling. It'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so again, Iranian TV did say a couple minutes ago that all diplomatic channels and indirect talks have been frozen following the president's recent threat. Williams says no issue of continuity at the Fed. Businesses have been adapting to more uncertain worlds and compensation and growing consistent with productivity, not pressuring inflation, but that the Iran impact will drive up headline inflation. They expect 2 to 2.5% GDP this year with stable unemployment. All right, so here's
Go ahead, sorry.
No, you're good. We are rebounding back up. We're almost up to 210s. So I'm not going to short this. I guess I could. A little unpredictable to take markets, but I'll take 2 contracts here. Small position. We're definitely moving a little bit more than yesterday. Yesterday, we weren't moving at all. I think people were still hungover from holiday yesterday. But we're going to short here. We're going to cut it very close at like 23 or so is going to be my risk level. Let me give it a little bit of time here. Gold is getting ready to go nuts. Yeah, I mean, gold has been very quiet, all things considered, the last few. Like very quiet. But we're in the NASDAQ short. Again, chat, I think it's smart to take micro positions right now. I do not think trading mini contracts smart move in this current environment of markets here. We're now green on this position. I'm gonna give it some time. See if we break down. Long or short right now, guys? Long or short? We're short right now in the market, but I do not think it's necessarily an easy market to attack here today. Short. Hold it for a bit. Yeah, I'm gonna sit in it for a little while at least. I just want to see if we break down. I probably should have waited for us to really get deeper under 24 200, but it's all right. I think most of the chat is short as well. Yes, I think so, Britt. I'm not going to comment on what you just said, but yeah, I think so.
Okay. I thought so too.
Yeah. 100%. Gold, silver, short, sideways until 8 o'clock. All right, so we are starting to get a larger breakdown here. A big downward push. Let's see if any news came out. Fed's Williams says Fed concentrated on task leadership issues, not a concern. They say Warsh has a strong grasp of the Federal Reserve. And, you know, another thing that we did see here is that the appeal to the Jerome Powell subpoena was rejected here. So Jerome Powell's subpoena has been rejected, the appeal to it. So it's looking like that is more close to being done with regarding the Department of Justice subpoena on Jerome Powell. It got rejected.
Is it a subpoena to testify before Congress?
It's a subpoena for basically the Department of Justice tried to charge Jerome Powell regarding some quotes that he made on the Fed building renovations. They basically say there could be like fraud in the Fed building renovations. All right, so we are pushing down here. I'm going to hold this break even though here, guys, I think. I'm not going to take profit yet. I'm just going to give it some time. Remember, my first step of my system is to build up a cushion on the day first. So I want to build up a cushion on the day first. And I do that by entering small and giving it time. And then if we get deeper in my favor, I'll add to it. If not, I'll just cut it with a small loss. And so I'm wondering if Jerome Powell is going to be doing the... okay, that's a little bit better here. See if we get some larger breakdowns. Again, I am just going to hold this break even now. Taco Tuesday. Yeah, that's the big question, Fibby. What's up, brother? That's the big question. Is will we get a taco-like situation? Basically, with the president back out after giving the deadline. All right, I'm going to take one off here. That way, I have a little bit larger cushion. I'm still going to hold this break even, but I want to see if we can really firmly break. Because it's happening quickly here. There we go. All right, so first trade of the day, we're going to lock in some profit here. And this is what I was trying to say. Like, when you see here on the volume profile, you get past this big high volume area. You can kind of move quickly here. So, again, traders are citing unverified reports citing that Iranian TV that all diplomatic channels and indirect talks have been frozen following the latest threats. The desk is unable to verify, though, according to whatever desk this is, that they said treat it with caution. But yeah, this is my first trade of the day. My next trade will be a little bit larger size, and then we'll continue to scale progressively in size until we can take smaller risk but higher potential reward trades, is if that makes sense. Will there be a president's speech? I'm not sure regarding this here. I really don't know if we're going to get another speech by the press today. I really... we'll see.
I wonder how much less, or if markets were less volatile before we had a 24-hour news cycle.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't know. It could be more or less.
Yeah.
So it could be more or less, really. Vince Williams says Warsh has a strong grasp of the Federal Reserve. Yeah, we saw what he posted on Truth. We did see what he posted on Truth. Again, it's one of those things where I can't really go too deep into it, but he basically said some really escalating things. We will find out tonight at 8 p.m. Today's a gamble. Yeah, again, it's one of those situations where this is a news headline-driven market. Sometimes markets move on economics. Sometimes market moves on Jerome Powell. Sometimes market moves on fundamentals. Sometimes they move on earnings. Sometimes they move more so with technicals. Right now, this is a news-driven market. And again, we've been streaming for years. This is right now. This is what's driving markets. And with that said, the market's a little bit more whippy up and down from stuff like this. So there's a lot of stuff coming out throughout the day over these last few days that markets digest, and you know, that in turn moves markets. But it's probably a little bit riskier to take large positions right now. I doubt we find anything at 8 p.m. Deadline will move again. Yeah, it's definitely possible. Yeah, and you can see how volume profile does influence this. So, like, look, we break down past this higher volume area. Once we get to, like, here, we had this little sliver of profit ability. I got in, like, right here and attack this. Once we get to this higher volume area, we ended up rebounding back up. So, again, you can see in the lower volume areas, that's when we get a bit faster here. But here's 24,200. I could short it.
Like you said, just less trades to affect the pattern in those areas.
Yeah, it's just less trades to affect the momentum. That makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. No, I wasn't backflip. I mean, I was probably streaming, but that did not move the market nearly as much as this did. Not even nearly, not even close to how much this has moved. This stuff moves markets. The big differing thing is oil. This has to do with oil. And oil runs the world. And so
Yeah, I think the biggest thing affected with the Ukraine conflict was like grain imports and exports.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, we are heading into tech earnings at the end of this month. So earnings season really starts next week with bank earnings. I'm curious to see what those numbers do. I think banks might have a little bit more attention paid to them because of the private credit thing going on. But bank earnings do come out next week. We also have Delta Airlines tomorrow. We've got a couple other Applied Digital Wednesday, BlackBerry Thursday, a couple other small companies. But next week, we get Goldman Sachs, we get JP Morgan, BlackRock, Citigroup, Johnson & Johnson, Wells Fargo, Albertsons, and more. We don't really have any big tech earnings next week. We have ASML, Morgan Stanley as well. No big tech, really. Except the biggest tech stock I see is TSM, Taiwan Semiconductors. Oh, and Netflix is Thursday next week. Sorry, so Netflix and TSM next week. And then the week after is when we're probably going to have all the big boys like Apple, Amazon, Meta, Google, you know, all that stuff. So, Intel. Although I am showing maybe not. Yeah, so at the end of this month, okay, so yeah, we don't have big tech earnings really outside of Tesla until the April 30th, like the end of this month. So, and maybe the other ones just aren't scheduled yet. It's possible. All right, so look, we're back up to that high volume area on the volume profile.
So you think it'll stabilize a little bit there?
It could just move in a choppy range, yeah. Like, again, now that we're here, this high volume node, the point of control area on the chart, could reject this back down. But in theory, once we're in this area right here, and you can see there's a lot of high volume nodes right here, we could chop. You know, here's the 200 exponential right here as well. So, like, that's kind of the top that I'm going to use. I use a little bit of both. I use the volume profile, I use the 200 exponential. I use big milestone levels like 200 or 250 above us to kind of give us an influence here. If you look at 250, here's 250 right here. So that is right when we kind of break out of some of this higher volume area. So I am looking at that. We're going to look at this area here as well.
Okay.
So that's the range I'm looking at. This is the range I'm looking at right now until we can form potentially an opening range at the open. This is what I'm looking at here. That range right there is what I'm looking at. We get a breakdown underneath that range. We did have 7.6% for the red book just show up at 755 or 855. But yeah, that's the range I'm paying attention to right now.
Someone says music is loud. Tell DJ Brent to chill. I'm not the one doing the music.
Brent, dude, what the heck, man? The music's loud, dude.
I'm so sorry. Let me turn your music down.
Sorry, guys. Did you hear the new Juvenile album? No, the last Juvenile album I listened to, what is it? Oh my goodness. Something just happened.
Wow.
Big
That
pop.
doesn't seem random.
Let's see. I gotta check Truth Social here, but some big pop just happened. It could be just the 9. No, we're not even at 9 a.m. Weird, dude. Hold on, let's see. More tweets. Nope. Look at that candle here. And then now we're heading down. Markets are digesting something here.
Weird when that happens and you can't pinpoint what did it.
Right, I don't see anything right now. Now maybe, you know, news is just late to cover this, but I don't see anything right now. It could be the opening bell, or it could be the 9 a.m. scrum, but I don't think so, man. That's a big candle for it. I'm checking Truth. I don't see anything on Truth as well. It could be oil. Yeah, let's take a look at oil. Here's oil. Oil's down, so this is something to do with Iran. Somebody knows something. Yeah, so somebody knows something here regarding the conflict. It looks de-escalating. Oil fell. NASDAQ pushed higher here, but it's starting to retrace this whole move. All right, so some news reports starting to come out. Let's see what it is. Yeah, it could be an insider trade as well. I don't see anything right now. We're watching, but I don't see anything regarding this. Yeah, look, it completely retraced back down. This is what I'm saying. This market's a little sketchy. Be careful. It looks, yeah, we saw that already dropping about the diplomatic channels and indirect talks frozen. That wouldn't make the market go up and oil go down, though. Although most of this candle has retraced. I don't see anything on truth. Nothing on truth. Yeah, that was just, man, they just stopped a bunch of people out, and now we're heading right back down here, guys. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, Polaris said just a big block trade, I think.
Yeah, that's possible. Redbook came out, sure, but Redbook came out about 3 or 4 minutes before this. Markets digest that type of thing instantly. That's not what this is. It's not a tweet. I don't even see any news that covered, like...
What's Redbook?
It's just an economic report. The Redbook...
Okay.
Yeah, the Redbook. Just I want to make sure I get it right. It's the weekly sales weighted measure of year-over-year same-store sales growth for major U.S. retailers. So it's retail info. It shows consumer spending. I want to make sure I don't botch it. That's why I look it up really quick. But yeah, I don't think that was Redbook. Redbook showed up at 7.6%, but this was at 8.55. Whatever happened, and I guess it could be at 8.55. Yeah, I mean 8.5. But before this move happened, we talked about the Redbook numbers, so I don't think it was Redbook. It could be, but I don't know if Redbook's gonna have that big of an influence. Okay, this is what happened. Okay, this is what happened. I see it now. A senior U.S. official tells Hemmer this morning, quote, "We are absolutely in touch with Iran. Absolutely. The talks have been positive. If we get lucky, we will have something by the end of the day," end quote. Right, that is the news that just put 3 minutes ago, lines up with, that's the news that just pushed. Somebody knew something ahead of time. But again, it's a senior U.S. official tells Hammer this morning that we are absolutely in touch with Iran. Absolutely. The talks have been positive. If we get lucky, we will have something by the end of the day, end quote. That's the news. Market's not necessarily buying it, but originally they reacted positively to it, as, you know, that makes sense.
I certainly hope it's real.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it is, right?
No. I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just saying I hope,
I hope it's real too. Yeah,
negotiations are still underway.
Sure. Yeah, I hope it's absolutely real too, but I'm skeptical.
Me too.
Yeah, they're trying to save the price of oil. Yeah, oil again, not really buying it either. It's basically right where it was prior to this. Also, the deputy governor of Kazvin denied the attacks on the railway line. He will announce an extension later, so you're basically saying we get another taco. Yeah. All right, guys, listen, 30 minutes until the opening bell here. 30 minutes, but yeah, that's what just popped market. Again, I'm going to cover this again since it's pretty breaking news. It's that a senior U.S. official tells Hemmer that we are absolutely in touch with Iran. Absolutely. The talks have been positive. If we get lucky, we'll have something by the end of the day.
Stop mentioning taco. I'm starving. And now I just keep thinking about tacos.
I love tacos.
I do too, but now
I'm a big fan.
Tacos. I'm starving.
I'm a big fan of breakfast tacos.
Oh,
give me a birria taco.
Oh, I love birria tacos.
Yeah.
Also, you're a bad person for not liking breakfast tacos / burritos. How could you not like eggs and hot sauce and hash browns and stuff in one wrapper?
Give me a brisket breakfast taco from Papa's Barbecue. I'll eat one of them.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, but as for like a regular breakfast taco, I mean, I'll eat it, but it's not the taco I'm looking for. I've never eaten a taco in my life.
What?
That can't be true. All right, Uber is using Amazon custom chips to boost AI efforts. Uber is going to use Amazon Web Services Graviton chips for rides deliveries. Uber is going to use AWS Trainium processors for AI model training. That news just came out. But again, markets are now very whippy here. Oil's still over 115s. NASDAQ is still in that high volume area of the volume profile. Bitcoin, if we take a look at Bitcoin, I see some people talking about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is mostly following macro market. Here's a daily chart on Bitcoin, up like how it's responding to all this. But again, it's basically moving like market is. Bitcoin right here. So very similar to the market if we put them next to each other. Here's Bitcoin, here's the market. Bitcoin, market. So very similar.
Oh yeah, I see that.
Yeah. Are y'all long or short here, chat? Long or short? Long or short? What do you guys think? Again, we're now seeing other breaking news stories cover the news that I covered about 5 minutes ago, which again is that a senior U.S. official tells them this morning that we are absolutely in touch with Iran. Absolutely. The talks have been positive. If we get lucky, we'll have something by the end of the day. Look, here's the news right here. We've been posting this for the last 5 minutes. All right, so I asked people long or short. Long, neither, short, short, long gold, short stocks, short oil, long. Rest in peace to Gary Coleman. Short, neither, short. Mostly shorts. Yeah, we're in the point of control right now. I'm not messing with this here for sure. We like I said, we get under 24,200s is still my level here. I think if we get under 24,200s, it become more likely that we're gonna at least test this low down here, if that makes sense. Like if we get under this level here, it becomes more likely to be tested. If we get momentum swings, then that's when we can start to see this. But a lot of that is driven by news today, to be honest. A lot of it is driven by news. Yeah, Barson, that news was not 9 minutes ago. That news has been here since I started my stream at 7:15 market time. That news actually came out about 35 minutes before I even started the stream. So
yeah,
that's
the
not
first thing we talked about.
Right. If you watch the stream in the beginning, that's the very first thing we talked about is the Kharg Island strikes, and we can go back to it. Maybe it's a good conversation to have, but Kharg is incredibly important. It's massive escalation. It's the difference between fighting a war and trying to economically destroy things. And reports are confirming it. So, yeah, Kharg Island was hit. And it's not the first time Kharg has been a target, but we did come out after these reports of Kharg Island strikes that we basically said that they were just military strikes. They weren't necessarily infrastructure strikes. Again, I do think, I don't know whether we did it intentionally or not, but I know what the U.S. is trying to say here is that, hey, look, we're not attacking infrastructure yet, or that these were just military strikes and oops, we did hit your infrastructure accidentally, you know. So I do think they're kind of just maybe like warnings more so than anything, but we'll see what happens. Again, the deadline is 8 p.m. tonight. 8 p.m. tonight.
It may have been intentional, but you always have some collateral damage when you're doing those kinds of things, and so it doesn't necessarily mean it was intentional.
Yeah, no, for sure. Look, oil's starting to come back down here. Oil at 115s or under 115s now. That's why 90% of traders lose money, because most of us short the market. I do a little bit of both. I go long and short. To me, it depends on the trend, right? I think most of this morning we've had a short bias trend, slightly choppy, but short bias trend. If we start to get over the 200 exponential and start to get past some of this high volume area, that's when I'll pivot to a more long base strategy. We have 24 minutes into the opening bell, but that's the plan right now. We had durable goods come out. Headline durable goods did show up a little bit weaker than expected. Core durable goods were a little bit stronger than expected, but it didn't really move markets at all. It's kind of old data.
Yeah, what'd you say the overall number was on durable goods?
I think it was negative 1.4 versus negative 1.1 expected or something like that. Let me see. Let me look at the actual number, make sure I'm not getting it wrong. Basically, no. Yeah, it was negative 1.4 versus negative 1.1 expected for a headline durable goods month over month for February. Core durable goods showed up at 0.8%, a little bit better than expected versus 0.5%. They did revise the previous ones all more negative. The last one was revised down to negative 0.5 for headline durable goods. And so they did have some negative revisions for durable goods. But again, this is February data here. Most people are waiting for March data at the end of this week.
Okay. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, Bitcoin popped. Nasdaq's popping back higher here. Also, Paramount formed partnerships with Saudi PIF, QIA, and Lamad.
As in the channel?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just reading news about Paramount. Yeah, Paramount Skydance. This one.
Okay.
PSKY is the symbol. They recently did a deal done for Netflix or for Warner Bros. So Paramount, as long as it goes through, is going to own Game of Thrones. It's going to own DC. It's going to own a bunch of big names.
Yeah, they're growing a lot.
Well, there was a battle for Warner Bros. So Netflix originally had the better offer, but after a certain point, Netflix dropped out of the bid for it, and so that leaves Paramount as the winner. And but they have to get approval, and that's a big if. So
yeah.
All right. So look, here's the top of that range we talked about at 250, and look at exactly where we stop here. 250 tapped exactly 250, and this is why whole dollar numbers in 25 increments make sense, right? If you look at this, we showed you guys this range. 200 exponential sitting right at around where we're at now. I do think this makes it a little bit like that top is one to watch now at about, what is it, 80? But as of now, we're still in the high volume area of the volume profile.
It's funny you said that, John. I was actually just going to say I wonder if Paramount will ever end up consuming Netflix.
I don't know. I think there's a chance that Netflix dropped out of this deal because there's a chance that Paramount won't get approval and they'll lose money on the ordeal anyway if they don't. And so Netflix was kind of like, okay, Paramount, you can take that risk. And, you know, I think they're going to get approval, but I think, you know, it's not a guarantee.
Yeah, no, I get you. I just thought it was funny that the real Jono said what I was thinking at the exact same time.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. It's a Netflix could be backing out because Netflix did react well to them dropping out of the Warner Bros. Bid. So, although it's down a little bit on the day right now. All right, guys. Nasdaq still in that high volume area. Not really tradable here. We'll see what happens, but not really tradable at this point. And again, guys, this is a great time to do a plug. If you haven't already, check out Apex. Apex, still 90% off. There's 90% off on Apex until Thursday. 90% off until Thursday on Apex. Great way to help support the channel. The cheapest accounts in the game. And if you ever wanted to try props, taking advantage when it's 90% off makes sense. Again, most day traders lose money. So if you fund your own account, thousands of dollars, you're probably going to lose. You're still probably going to lose regardless. I try to be honest with people. You got some people that act like it's a get rich quick scheme. I'm kind of the other way. I'm telling people the truth, which is that most day traders are going to lose. So learning with cheap accounts under a structured environment makes sense. Again, 90% off on Apex until Thursday. Here's the link. Check it out. Help support the channel. They are an affiliate of mine. I'm biased, but genuinely useful. Again, you can use coupon code BGT on Apex, on Lucid, on Tradeify, on Take Profit.
And what'd you say you thought the best tier was in Apex? Or best bang for your buck anyway?
I would go with the 50K end of day option. The 50K end of day option, I think, has the best bang for your buck on Apex. And so 50K end of day option is $35. You know, I think that's the best bang for your buck. You know, like, yeah, you could go with the 25, but the 25 you're going to be paying $30 anyway. For five more dollars, you can get 50. You know, twice as much. So I think that makes the most sense. The day option. Can you please explain end of day? So you have a maximum drawdown. Basically, if you go over that level, you lose. If it's a trailing or intraday drawdown, that means it follows you up. meaning if it's $1,000 as if your max loss is $1,000, say the previous day your max loss was 24,000. And so you start the day, if you go under 24,000, you lose. If it's trailing, if you make $500, your new max drawdown follows you up. So it's now 24,500 versus 24. If it's end of day, that means it stays there at 24,000 regardless of how much profit you make throughout the day, right? So it uses the previous end of day option and it stays that way versus a trailing one which follows you higher. It basically gives you more room. But it's a little bit more expensive, but it gives you more room, and I think because of that, it's a better option, obviously. All right, so NASDAQ starting to bounce a little bit higher. We're at 250, 240. John hasn't done a contest in a while. We can do a contest today.
Did one last week, didn't you? Or two last week?
I did. Sam. 50K makes most sense. Yeah. You. I asked for justice, Pew says. No, Pew was I was talking to him in our Discord, and speaking of that, join our Discord, guys. Completely free, doesn't cost anything. A great way to help support the channel. And here's the link right here. Join our Discord, completely free. Like I said, doesn't cost anything. We got a lot of us here in chat that chat on the Discord. But yeah, Pew was first on his end. Somebody else was first on my end. I
mean, you can only really go by your end, though.
No, that's what I said. We're doing giveaways a different way now, so we're having AI randomly pick them. So
yeah. Also, Fender, you might be a kindred spirit. I love Supernatural. Been watching since it started.
Wait. Look at this candle.
Uh-oh.
Big wick down. Look at this candle. Hold on. All right, so I'm showing, according to British Maritime Trade Operation Agency, a container ship in the Gulf was hit by shell south of Iran's Kharg Island. So again, a British Maritime Operation says a container ship in the Gulf was hit by a shell south of Iran's Kharg Island. That is what's going on, probably causing this big candle wick here.
Say who owned the ship?
No.
Okay.
But that's probably the news driving this market. Senior Iranian sources, Pakistan continues to convey messages, but the U.S. has not changed its tone, according to Reuters. But look at that big candle wick. So we went down originally in NASDAQ, and then we retraced all the way back higher here. So. Yeah, I'm not using that anymore, Sam. We do it a different way now. All right, guys, here we go. The opening bell is at 15 minutes. 15 minutes here, guys.
I agree, Pew. They didn't get to do the ending they wanted, though, because of lockdowns. They had a whole different thing in mind. It wasn't bad, though. But also, for my money, the Scooby-Doo crossover episode was the funniest one in the series. And that's saying something.
I don't even know what y'all are talking about over there.
Talking about Supernatural, the TV show.
I never saw it.
Oh, you're missing out, dude. It's awesome.
Well, yeah, I've been watching Your Friends and Neighbors. Great show. Season 2 just started. Great show. I'm telling you, Britt, you need to get on it, dude. You're gonna regret not watching it. It's very good.
I don't know anything about it. What's it about?
So it's about this guy who is like this really wealthy guy. Is played by John Hamm, and essentially he gets fired, and so he has to find a way to make money. So he starts robbing his neighbors, like all this like really wealthy neighbor stuff, and he kind of goes into the criminal underworld that way. Right, very good. It's very good. I'm not going to give any more away, but that's the premise of the show. Very good. Season 2 just started.
Where can I watch it?
Apple TV is what it's on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'll check it out.
Yeah, man, it's good, dude. It's good. Yeah. Resulting in a skill gap. 85% of workers have no AI training. Yeah, That's actually where Your Friends and Neighbors is actually where they got that meme of John Hamm, is the show Your Friends and Neighbors. Uh, Again, all right. So again, a couple minutes ago, senior Iranian source to Reuters says Qatar conveyed Iran's message about striking power plants to the U.S. on Monday, and that Pakistan continues to convey messages, but the U.S. has not changed its tone. He said there are no negotiations with the U.S., which want Iran to surrender under pressure. He said flexibility will be shown when we see flexibility from the U.S.'s side. End quote. Again, senior Iranian source. So that is what's going on right now. All talk is bearish.
I'm not have the bandwidth for all this back and forth. It's too stressful.
Yeah, dude. All right, so if again, senior Iranian source says if U.S. attacks Iran's power plant, the entire region and Saudi Arabia will fall into complete darkness. That news just came out as well. We got 12 minutes. 12 minutes until the opening bell. We're still in that high volume area of the volume profile here, though, so I just gotta chill and wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8 p.m. coming tonight. Here, guys, tonight.
Yeah, the real Jono, I agree. Landman is an awesome show. Billy Bob Thornton really, like he's just boss in that show.
Yeah.
You need to watch Landman, John. It's awesome.
I have, dude. I've watched the whole first season and part of the second. I haven't finished the second.
That's not enough. It's
Dude,
not enough.
I've seen it. First season was great. I like Landman a lot. I'm trying to see if Trump speaks today. I've had a couple of people say he speaks, and I
mean, there might be an impromptu thing. I don't know.
Yeah, look, here we go. We're dropping on the NASDAQ here, so we are falling at 11 minutes ahead of the opening bell. It's too risky for me to trade this close to the bell, and we do have green on the day already here. But, again, we're in the high volume area of the volume profile. We start to break down under 200s. We might have a little room here. But we'll see. We also have news that Fox is going to integrate Kalshi forecasts across Fox News and other platforms. All right, a senior Iranian source says what the U.S. wants is the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. Iran will not open it in exchange for empty promises. So this news is coming out ahead of the opening bell, but that is what is causing markets. Be careful today. Intel is popping up. Is it really? Yeah, Intel is up, probably on some news here. Yeah, Intel says it has joined forces. It has joined the TerraFab project alongside SpaceX, XAI, and Tesla to help refactor silicon fab technology. So that's the news with Intel, and that's why Intel's popping up. It's at 5150s. All right, guys, opening bell. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. No deals anytime soon. Yeah, I think, like I said, the issue I have is that I don't think the optics of this look good regarding specifically the tweets. I think the optics look bad. I said you could agree or disagree with what we're doing, but coming out being, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. And I'm not being political here. I'm just saying I don't know if the optics regarding the tweet that we got earlier from the president. I just don't know if. And I think what he's trying to do is put public pressure on them specifically. He's trying to scare them. Which you can agree or disagree with it, but I still think you got to be a little bit more careful with tone.
I agree, and I don't think they. I might be wrong, but I don't think they respond in standard fashion. You know what I mean?
Right, for sure. All right, guys, we're still in that high volume area of the volume profile here. You can see that area right here. So we're looking for maybe breaks over 250, breaks under 200 is kind of the plan right now. But we're going to look for an opening range. So we have 8 minutes left, 8 minutes.
only gas petrol stations here and a 7 out of fuel.
Yeah, 8 minutes into the opening bell. Yeah, no, Brazzy. I don't think they are either. I think there's too much disconnect in terms of each side. But to be fair, historically, when we see conflicts like this, the side in the Middle East generally stays that way in terms of their responses up until a deal is reached, right? So even if we were close to doing a deal, I don't think we would know it from their side specifically. Like, we wouldn't be able to really tell from their side specifically. And so, all right, NASDAQ is starting to head up. We're at 240s right now. 8 minutes into the opening bell. NASDAQ does have a green candle forming. See what happens. NVIDIA, again, chat. Sitting at 175s here. We're right at that 200 exponential.
Yeah, it seems like both sides are speaking completely independently of the other one. It's like, it's weird. It's like they're both speaking like the other one doesn't exist, or like the other side just has to do exactly what they say.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, NASDAQ at 240s. 240s. Yeah. Do we get over the 200 exponential question? I don't know. See? Yeah, I saw that. If the situation gets out of control, allies will close the Bab el Mandeb waterway, according to a source. I did see that as well.
Who
But here we
controls
go.
that waterway? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we're heading into the opening bell here. Yeah, I'd have to go look at which ally controls it. Yeah, let me look this up. Yeah, here's oil. So again, oil still over 115s at the opening bell. We did a poll much earlier today that said most people expect oil to close over 115s today. So most people still expecting oil to close pretty high. 76% of the chat actually expects that.
So it looks like the Houthi movement in Yemen controls that strait, or part of it anyway.
Gotcha. Yeah. The Houthis. Yep. Translate to Gate of Tears in Arabic. The narrow strait between Yemen and the African side connects the Red Sea to the Gulf of Aden, which then opens in the Indian Ocean. So 9 to 12% of global seaborne oil trade passes through it. About 4 to 5 million barrels per day transit through it. So that's the threat right now. Al-Mandab, yeah. Again, I might be pronouncing it wrong. I have no idea. Right way to say most of these. All right, guys, here we go. We have 4 minutes left until the opening bell. 4 minutes. Again, NASDAQ up to 244s. 244s on the NASDAQ here. Still pushing. Oil dropping. NASDAQ moving higher here ahead of the opening bell. Less than 4 minutes. I think you're smart until you try to spell.
Djibouti.
Yeah. You think you're smart until you use somebody else's shower. Always laughed at that one. I didn't make that up. I heard it somewhere else. But you ever try to use somebody else's shower? Dude, it's like a freaking puzzle. It's a puzzle.
It's so true. It took me a minute to figure yours out.
I'm telling you, everyone's different too. You think they would have a universal, way? Not the case at all. Everyone's like, you know what? Let's do the shower hot, cold, different than everybody else. Let's be progressive here. Let's be different.
Yeah.
All right, guys. 3 minutes left. 3 minutes. All right, we're at
How long till you get your
235s.
purple belt, John?
I don't know. I've told people I do not want my purple belt. You know, I thought I wanted my blue belt, and as soon as I got my blue belt, like all the other purple belts and beyond, like I was already kind of a rough white belt anyway. I was kind of rough, you know. BGT Kane is my code on Apex. BGT. It's my code everywhere. But yeah, once I got my blue belt, all the other higher belts were like, all right, it's time. You know, judgment day for you, blue belt. You know.
Just started like seriously trying to beat you up.
Yeah, dude, I got beat up at it. So as soon as I got my blue belt, I was like, I don't even want a stripe. Do not give me a stripe. Don't give me my purple. I did see this news just drop. Maybe it's influencing things here, but this is the news. Iran has closed all diplomatic and indirect channels of communication with the U.S. according to Tehran Times.
We'll see.
Yeah,
I don't know if I should believe that either.
I'm gonna be one of those like 10-year blue belts.
A sleeper blue belt.
Right. All right. So Nasdaq is back over the 200 exponential. It's testing that 250 level we drew on the chart back here, but we are pretty close to the open, and so we will get a new range forming at the opening bell. Maybe it'll be a similar range here, but we are watching it now. It's testing that 250 level here. We got a minute and a half left. Also, Google's starting to push up in terms of stocks. Nvidia's starting to break over the 200 exponential here. Yeah, I gave you a 30-minute ban, Dave, for telling people untrue things. Point is, I'm watching you right now, dude. I'm watching you. The heat is on, bro. You better make good decisions. And, you know, you get banned forever. Where do you get your news? I get a mix of social media and others. All right, guys, here's the opening bell. We got less than a minute here. Less than a minute. Welcome back, Dave. Now behave. Yeah, Sam's hottest single coming out. Sam's hottest single coming out soon.
Welcome back, Dave.
Behave. Yeah, this is like the Game of Thrones shame scene, but with Dave instead. Shame, Dave. How dare you give us wrong information? 20 seconds left until the market opens, guys. 20 seconds left. We'll see what we get. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. No, I'm just joking, Digital. I'm not going to be a white belt or a blue belt for 5 years or 10 years. I'm just joking. I'm staying at my gym. I'm not. There's the opening bell. You know, I'll turn to purple whenever they promote me. Nvidia, other stocks pushing up at the opening bell here. Look at this move at the open. So we have upward movement so far. Sometimes the first move is the wrong move, though. But time will tell if that's true in this situation or not. But we are heading up a little bit since the opening bell. Specifically, Nvidia popped up to over 176. Google's over 300. Other tech stocks are moving a little bit higher as well, at least some of them. We have now retraced a lot of this upward move, though, so maybe we're going to turn the other way. The opening range so far is between like 24,303 and 240. So mighty large opening range for that first candle here so far. We'll see if this continues here. We're about a minute into the open. We have now retraced that entire green candle here. I can't trade right now. I got to wait about 4 or 5 minutes until market opens. So bull or bear at the opening bell, guys? What do you guys think? Bull or bear right now? Let's do another poll here while we wait to be able to trade. Bull or bear at the opening bell? We did a poll earlier. We got almost 1,000 votes. Most people say yes, oil closes over 115s. Are you bullish or bearish for today's open? Bull, bear, and neutral are going to be the 3 options here. Look at this reversal here. So we've reversed this entire green candle that we've made, and now we're starting to head down here. I'm still watching 24,200s. We're about 1.5 minutes into the day. Why do you wait 5 minutes to trade after the open? Because the opening bell is just super like that. There's higher variance within the first 5 minutes. Some people wait 15 minutes. Look at this big red candle though here. Hold on, guys. Let me make sure no news is breaking. But yeah, I mean, I do this because market's volatile in that first 5 minutes.
So you're waiting for the beginning of a pattern or a trend to establish.
Right. I think it's pretty safe to say like it's best to let things play out a little bit first before you take positions, directions.
Let it settle.
Yeah, let it settle a little bit. Let ranges form. Let trends form.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Nasdaq's down. That means oil's probably higher since the open. There's a high chance of chop in our future. Yeah, we covered durable goods.
What is Pizza Watch?
I don't know. I don't even know what that is. Yeah. I'm a big pizza guy, you know.
I love pizza. It's so hard to find like really great pizza though.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll sit around and I'll watch Dave Portnoy pizza reviews while eating pizza, you know. Not my best moment, but, you know, I like to give it a rating in my head. And,
Oh, I love
yeah.
watching that kind of stuff and like people going around trying like the quote best barbecue restaurants and all that. But the downside to it is like whenever I see something like a really awesome looking one, I'll look it up and find out it's like 2,000 miles away from me. It's like I really want to try it. Now I'm not going to.
Yeah. I just watched a commercial from NASDAQ before getting into your live stream. Listen, they understand where the good money, you know, yeah, they understand, you know. We're official over here. Anyways, we're starting to break down here. We're at 215s. Let's see if this trend continues. It looks bearish right now. It looks bearish. Opening candle was very green, completely retraced. Now we're moving down. I'm watching 200s still. Under 200s clean. Maybe I'll take a position, but I do have to wait for a range to form. Yeah, again, tech. Nvidia's actually been heading up since the opening bell. It's back down under 176. Meta is red. Google was green and then retraced. Amazon's red. Netflix is green since the opening bell, though. Microsoft's slightly red. So we're kind of getting some chop here in the first 5 minutes. We got a couple contradictory sources of news. A senior U.S. official said Washington is in direct contact with Iran, describing the talks as positive. And then we got more potential escalating comments from the other side today. So
now we're starting. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, now we're starting to maybe head back up to the 250 level, but the 200 exponential right here at 240 could keep us down.
I was just gonna say it's almost getting to the point for me where I'm not even gonna not that I'm gonna not pay attention at all, but I'm not gonna put a whole lot of stock in what either side says. It's gotten to the point for me where I just have to pay attention to what actually happens.
Yeah, and unless it's like a big story, most of the time markets haven't been reacting as much as they had previously to this type of stuff. Right? Like I think that's just exhaustion by markets. Like markets are exhausted trying to cover all this stuff, and so each individual catalyst is less influential. I think it's the logic on why we're seeing, you know, I think we could look at how you're viewing it as well, and then, you know, use that to gauge broader reactions. And I think we're seeing that in markets. I think markets are just less
Becoming kind of immune to the news to the news
correct
articles and stuff.
Yeah, now don't get me wrong. If there's a big story that drops or something that really looks like we might have good or bad things, then obviously markets are going to react. But
yeah.
But they're getting conditioned to react less, I think, at this point in time, just for the sheer volume of news that's coming out every day about it. All right, guys, so we're 6 minutes into the day. NVIDIA is heading up. So NVIDIA just went up to 176.50s, 176.60s almost. So.
What was it at open?
NVIDIA opened up at about 175.60s. It's at 176.60s now, so it's up about $1, which for NVIDIA is, you know, a little bit more than 0.5%.
Okay.
You see the NASDAQ kind of follows NVIDIA. NVIDIA is the most heavily weighted stock in the market, right? So if NVIDIA starts to head up dramatically, a lot of the time, the NASDAQ especially, but also the S&P and more follow it up. So. Yeah, so we're here. But again, we're pretty choppy at this opening bell. We are green on the day here on this account, but we're still kind of choppy to be. We are green, but it's a small green, but we will take a little bit larger shots. Yeah, I did see that pawn about Intel joining the Terafab project with SpaceX, XAI, and Tesla. They were up in pre-market, and they're up right now. They're up to 53s. They just broke the pre-market high. Anything happening today that'll move markets? Well, we had a couple things that move markets, but again, markets are kind of starting to price in less hype from all this stuff going on. What do you think about Salesforce? I mean, Salesforce overall has had a tough year just because it got kind of hit with software worries from AI. Salesforce has kind of had a rough year. Rough 2026, rough 2025. It was at 296 back in June of last year. It's now at 180s. So big percentage down. Maybe it's time to buy. But I don't know. Not an investment professional. The Discord link, you should be able to find it. Maybe not. Maybe I should. Here's the Discord link. Yeah, Sam got it. Thank you, Sam. Ridiculous to throw money in and out of markets based on tweets. These are gamblers. Many investors are ridiculous gamblers. Well, of course they are. I mean, that's kind of the nature of it. It's going to attract the gamblers the most. Yeah, Nvidia up to, again, almost 177s now.
I've never been a big fan of gambling, but this is more interesting than standard gambling to me.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's not, it depends on how you define gambling, but you could definitely be better at, the odds are more skewed in your favor, I think, for this. So we did get news that the King Fahd Causeway, which is a vital route connecting Saudi Arabia to Bahrain Island, has been closed due to threats. The deadline is 8 p.m. Dave. Deadline is 8 p.m., Dave, not 4 p.m. Maybe 4 p.m. y'all's time. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when the deadline is. All right, so the Nasdaq's starting to go red here on the day. I'm still watching 24,200, but we do have this opening range right here. Let's draw it. Now we're starting to break down here. Here's the orb range right here. So we are watching this range, but now 10 minutes into the day, we still got some time. And again, if you haven't already, check out Lucid. Lucid's a great option. Most day traders lose money. So Lucid gives you a really good option to learn, and most day traders lose. They have directive funding options as well. I like Lucid because it has some of the best mix of rules here. So like it has reasonable rules, and we're still in that range here. It has reasonable rules, but also has directive funded options. 60 million plus paid to traders, 50,000 plus traders on Lucid, 15-minute average payout time, 4.8 trust pilot rating, 90-10 split, no payout windows, clear and simple rules, end of day drawdowns, 10-1 microscaling, no hard breach rules, and more. So some of the best mix of good rules. If you use my coupon code at checkout, BGT at checkout, you get it for very cheap as well for all of these. And then they do have directive funded options here. So the base one's 238, which is one of the cheaper directive funded options that's available right now. Them and Tradeify. Again, you can use coupon code BGT on both of them, have really good options. And you can check out the description, see all the different ones that you could potentially use. But Lucid's great. Again, I'll put their link up. Yeah, we're testing the bottom of that range now. There's a reason I'm watching 24,200. So I could short this move here, maybe. I think a short honestly makes sense right here. But I think I might miss it.
What is your reason there? Is the volume?
Well, we're shorting into this high volume area, which might actually push it back down. Once we get into this here, we might chop. But underneath some of these big nodes, we could reject, and then I think there's a greater chance. So you have this level staring at us right here at 180. So I am gonna short now into this level here. But we already have a green on the day, and this isn't good. We'll give it a second. It's just a whippy day here, though, guys. I'm not liking this very much. We only have 2 con. We continue to push higher here.
I'm gonna make fun of too hard here, but what is a?
I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna cut.
Exactly.
Sorry, I'm gonna cut half of this here just to protect it. I'll add more if we go into the. But just for risk management purposes, I took half of this off. A contract in futures. So they go by contracts. It's very similar to day trading stocks and futures. But they use contracts, and every contract has like a certain movement amount per tick, right? So some have larger movement amounts, some have smaller. Micros have, I think it's 50 cents a tick.
Okay.
So again, we're still in this, but we cut a lot of this break even, and we're getting pushed right back down here. So we have a very tight range. Could just get a fake out here. I'm just gonna cut it right there and get out and maybe recalibrate where we want to trade. Maybe we'll take another one at the 200 exponential, but we're still in this choppy range at this point in time.
Okay. Appreciate you answering my question. I mean, like, I'm sure, like a lot of people, I don't want to sound, ignorant, but if you don't ask questions, you don't learn anything.
No, you're good, bro. Yeah. Ask as many questions as you want. You'll learn it over time. It's just, like one contract equals, I think, 50 cents a tick, right? Like on a micro NASDAQ contract, which I think most people should be trading micros right now based off of everything going on. If we're talking about minis, I think it's $5 a tick. So it literally moves 10x the size of a micro contract, which is what I'm trading.
Okay.
So I might have been right about this direction. It's just too risky. Maybe like I said, we bounce back higher. Maybe we'll take another short. But I think I might miss some of this. Yeah. All right. We'll short into this. We have 1 micro. We'll add to it if we go deeper into the green. Yeah, right now we're still green on the day here, but it's less. Sure.
We appreciate the sentiment, UP. I think John has the best channel too.
Yeah, there's a move down. We got to get under some of these levels here and break down under, but we can hold this one a little bit longer. Maybe add on like a retracement candle here. I would double our size right there because we have a cheap double. Go. We're gonna flush back down. Let's see if the drop. There we go. I'm gonna take half off right there. There we go. There. I'm gonna get out right there at the bottom here. So we did make money net over those last few trades. We'll look for a little bounce up to 200 again, maybe. The chance buyers step in, but I'm gonna short it here. Maybe take another one here. Trade with some of the profit we have. We have a cushion. Take some more risk. See if we reject at some of these high volume areas again. Head back down. Here we go. There. A little bit more off there. And we'll hold this last one pretty loose. That'll work. Spilling my coffee down here. There. What do I want to do? I'm going to hold this one break even. We got a pretty decent cushion on the day now. And we will hold this break. Those that don't like rip up, we should be. I'll let it test, but
you're not supposed to spill your coffee, John. In case
I know
you
it's.
didn't know.
If I lose, I blame the coffee spill. All right, I'm gonna cut out right there. All right, so yeah, we made money on that trade too. This level right here could reject it again at 200, and I think bears are in control right now, so I do think we're gonna continue down. And yeah, there we go. But we made money on it. Now that's Micron. Micro is oh yeah, there's a couple times I've hit old coffee here. Like I'll leave my mug from yesterday. Like here's my mug from yesterday. I've learned though, like yeah, there's been a couple times I've sipped like coffee. Like there'll be a mug that's like tucked behind my desk or something, and my coffee will be on my right. and I just won't even notice until it's too late. You guys red or green on the day, guys? Red or green?
Yeah, that definitely sucks, but sucks even more when you accidentally take a sip of something that somebody dropped a cigarette butt in.
Oh yeah, that's not good either. Yeah. I don't know. The way I look at it, it's kind of like my kombucha of coffee. You know, maybe it's good for me. You know, optimism, guys. Optimism. Maybe there's some benefits to 5-day-old coffee. You know? All right, Nasdaq breaking down here. We're at 167s. 167s. I see red, green, slightly green, green thus far, $100 green. Nasdaq's breaking down. It looked bearish for sure. Make sure no breaking news has happened.
Did you ask where everybody is today or no?
No, where are you guys from? Where are you guys watching the stream from? I'm trading micro Nasdaq. Look, if we get a pop back up to like, I would give it to like 94s, 95s. I know that's a little strict, and I think the bears are in control right now and momentum's heavy on the downside. We could look for a bounce at 150 right here. Right here at 150. Here's 150. Yep. Yes, sir. I'm not going to take that long. It's against the trend, but you can see where maybe we take a little pit stop there at some of these whole dollar numbers I always talk about. Easy money. I think psychologically, eyes just naturally pivot to it. Now, we might continue down, but a lot of the time, I call it like little pit stops at these levels. You can kind of see where short-term momentum might bounce and make another retest of it. Still holding, though, for the part. All right, let me check. Germany, Denmark, Italy, Morocco, Mexico, New Zealand, Finland, Cali, Australia, South Carolina,
Albania,
Harlem. I thought we'd have more U.S. people here. We don't have more people from the United States.
not because of the time.
Yeah. Look, we're down to, look, we did bounce right at 150. Look at that pop here. Again, I need 195s before I take some of these positions.
I know some people from Albania. They told me I should go. It said it's beautiful. And I've looked at a lot of pictures and it looks awesome. And the food looks great too.
Yeah, I see some people in Brooklyn, Belgium, Texas, Harlem. But look, we did bounce right there at 150 here, chat. Right at 150. Colorado, Austin. I'm from the US. What's up, Kane? Yeah, so we got 150s bounce here. I need 195s or so. But I don't know if I'm going to get it. If the momentum's too strong, I'm not going to get it. Richmond, Orlando, Houston. A lot of people from Texas. Yeah. Mississippi, Jersey.
Goodbye.
Yeah. All right, we're heading down. We're at 155s right now. 155s.
Oh, Micronesia. Cool.
All right, so here's a retest of 155s. I almost never take these type of retests, though. They're too risky, in all honesty. Most of the time, they're just too risky. But in this case, that 150 level might have held. And that's why, like, people say technicals don't work. But before any of this happened right here, I told people, hey, I'm watching this line right here. And so technicals clearly work, at least to a certain extent. Do they work every time? No. But can you get an idea of where things might react to, stop, so forth? Yes. Looks like the momentum's still strong on the bear side, though. Pakistan. Austin. Yeah, so again, we kind of whipped down here and popped back higher. Again, I got to stay out of it. There's not enough meat on the move to short this. I need like 195. It's just under 200. It allows us to get back into some of that level here, but I'm still just kind of hanging out, waiting kind of movement we get.
definitely want to do more international traveling. What about you, John? Like, I've only had a few experiences out of the country, and they've been very enjoyable.
Well, I've been to Mexico, I've been to Canada. I've never been to overseas though. Uh, I had some family in Canada. I love Mexico too, but I'd like to go to. Like I said, I've always wanted to go to London since my last name is London, and like buy something where I need an ID and just hand it to them and have them be like, you know what? Yes, respect for the last name. You know, like
Just for this, we're making
know,
you king of London.
right. That's right. You know, because of this, we're giving you all this stuff for free, and I'm like, you know what? You know, it'd be like a Mentos commercial. Uh, but I never have. Huh.
Yeah.
All right, so we're up to over 180s. Hi, I'm new to trading. What are you saying? What are you referencing when you're saying it's in the 150s and 140s? So we're talking about the NASDAQ 100 futures contract. When I say like, look, here's the level. I draw these different levels. This level actually ended up reacting to it. But so what I'm talking about is just levels, right? I look at levels a lot with my trading. I use a mix of the volume profile levels, 200 exponential moving average trends, and gauge with direction taking my trades. A lot of the time, big psychological levels are what traders focus on, just even if it's not even intentionally. They look at like an example of it. The biggest, it would be 24,000, 25,000 on the NASDAQ. On the S&P 500, maybe like 7,000, 6,500. Use that mixed with like historical all-time highs because people's eyes just naturally gravitate towards those levels. And they also use them as milestone levels. Like if we break back over 24,000 or back over 25,000, more traders might focus on those levels to see if we hold, so to speak. Here's 195s that I was talking about here. I'm going to short one small one right here and add to it if it goes in my favor. But because of that, those levels are relevant just because they have a lot of buyers and sellers that base their trades around them, even, either intentionally or unintentionally. Another dynamic I use with my trading is I take small positions first and then I add to them if they go in my favor. That way, if I have a losing trade, it's usually with small size. If I have a winning trade, it's usually with the larger size. We're immediately green in this trade. I will add to it if it goes more in my favor here. 187s. And this will give me a little bit more room to just kind of sit on this. All right, so a Pakistani government official with information about peace talks said there's no hope anything will be confirmed today following U.S. attacks. So again, I don't know if that's necessarily good, but he said there's no hope anything will happen today following attacks, basically. Yeah, so we're in this now. Let's see if we drop some more. Start pushing back down.
Stoke says Tesla has not stopped falling.
Yeah, Tesla's been having a couple months of red. Really all year has been red.
Bummer.
Yeah, I'm talking about 24,190s is the levels I'm talking about, just to put it in perspective. We're talking about, most of the time, traders abbreviate the price. Instead of saying the whole dollar number, they just say the hundreds number. All right, so we are green, but now we kind of retracing back up. We'll give it some time, though. We did get a rejection back down here. I'm worried 180 might prop it up, though, to be honest. So there we go. That's nice. Okay. We'll add to this now. Yes, sir. Take that off. Hold this break even, so we're out. So up really nicely on the day here. Got a decent cushion now.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I just kind of wonder how far from like vehicle manufacturing or production or whatever he intends to transition or to move.
Well, during the last earnings call for Tesla, he did say he was transitioning more to robotics. They're already involved with robotics and AI with XAI. So
yeah.
And like I've said this many times, but the margins of Tesla have not been great. Like they are a multi-billion-dollar company, and they might be making. I should have held that short. They might be making like 30 cents a share sometimes EPS, which is very small. right? So the margins haven't been good for automotives anyway, especially like the Cybertruck margins have been not good at all.
Okay.
And so I always describe the pivot more to AI and robotics as a higher risk, higher potential reward move for Tesla. Like they might make more money, but there's obviously more risks as well because that's not their main business at this point. It's not their, what they're known for.
Yeah.
Anyways, Nasdaq's continuing to break down. We're at 150s here, 150s.
Yeah, I just wondered if he intends to eventually like stop altogether with vehicles.
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't think so, but I think it'll be more and more of a. I think over time, if AI grows, it'll be the less impactful aspect of their business. So we're breaking down under 150s. So we're breaking down under 150s. Nvidia turned all the way back down under the 200 exponential. It's at 175.5s now. Here we go, testing lows of the day. Lows of the day at 133s. We're at 140. Looks like we're going to crack lows here, at least test lows right now. All right, we just bounced off of the low of the day here. Sometimes that level can be support, so just be careful. Yeah, just be careful. The 150s.
So said, how much does a Cybertruck cost?
Well, when
Someone said a Cybertruck costs your dignity.
Well, when they first came out, they were like Cybertrucks are like what, like 200,000 when they first came out. We've seen those numbers drop a lot. So now I think they're less than 100. You can probably find one for them.
Yeah, Pew says 70 to 90. I don't know if I'm just quoting what they said. I don't know if it's true.
Yeah.
Probably is.
Yeah, that's probably right. All right, guys. So again, we hit 133, the low of the day. We didn't quite break it though, so now we're retesting this level now. Bears have definitely gained control of market activity as of now. Iran and France have reached a deal to free 2 French citizens detained there in return for an Iranian citizen held in France. That news came out. All right, there's the crack of lows. So we just broke lows of the day here. We are now breaking down at 120. At 120s. I might short either 175 or 150. I'd rather 175 short, but I'd like us to actually break down a little bit more first before, if we're going to take 150. There's 10 a.m. I don't think data came out at 10 that I'm missing. Yeah, that's what I thought. 100s is the new level here. Obviously, guys, we start to break down. Here's 24,000, right? The 24,000, probably a relevant level. There's 24K right there. 24,000, probably a relevant level. Nasdaq still falling. We start to really get weak here. Maybe we'll keep falling. But stocks have turned the other way as the deadline day approaches. So. I could short 150 now. It'd be very small, though. Very small. We've had pretty good success today. I mean, we haven't had a lot of losing trades yet. Okay, so we are down under. We're hitting 2490s now, testing the lows of the day again. I want to see my profit graph through all this stuff. My accuracy has been on point. Look at this. So here is my profit graph. We're talking about accuracy here, pulled directly from Tradeovate in this funded account I've been trading. Nasdaq's still breaking down under 24 100s. Look at this, 72% plus accuracy. That's very good accuracy. And my system's kind of break even R&R, but high accuracy. But look at that. Here's my oh wait, and I'm sorry. This is just since April started. I did the month, but I wanted. Let me do a custom one. Because I wanted really March to be here. Sorry. All right, we're still breaking down here. We tapped 80s. Tapped 80s. Okay, there we go. Until what's the 7th? Yeah. What the heck, man? Where's it at? Be my accurate. All right, look. Nothing happened. I refreshed it. Nothing.
What are you looking for?
Last month's data? I don't know if it just doesn't give it to me this month. Yeah, look at the red action here. There's not enough meat. Okay, so Atlanta Fed GDP now cuts Q1 GDP estimate to 1.6%. Previously it was 1.3. So that news did come out. Here's the link right there, or there's the data right there. Still deep red. Look at this. We might break lows at 2480s here.
Damn.
Yeah. Dude, what the heck is going on, bro? I just stopped calculating my profits here. Okay, I want to calculate to stagflation. Yeah, maybe. Nasdaq testing lows again. There it goes. Just broke under it again here. Nasdaq very weak right now. Very weak on the day. Make sure no breaking news is happening.
I was about to say, what's causing this?
It's just opening bell. Like the opening bell. This is why people wait for the open, is because there's more action.
I know.
Sure,
I mean, I understand. It just looks. I mean, it's a very substantial drop.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, markets are kind of crazy, bro.
CP. Yeah, Pew, I agree with you. Like in terms of car costs and housing costs and stuff, it's ridiculous. I mean, I know it was a long time ago, but I mean, my grandparents bought a house in 1963 for $18,000. My dad bought a brand new GMC Sierra, fully loaded, in the early '80s for like $8,500. And I get that was a long time ago, but it's just inflation has just been ridiculous.
Yeah, it's been high. Honestly, I can't get it to show me my profit on TradeOvate. I don't know why. Like it won't load like last month. Oh. Whatever. Try again another day. All right, so the markets are moving here. 60 is the new low. We'll break it down. Yeah, definitely a red day so far. Again, the deadline is approaching here. Just be careful, guys. Deadline is almost here. No big news has come out, really. This is just fear.
Yeah, I was about to ask, so you didn't find any headlines?
Oh, I think.
Okay.
NASDAQ just still flushing down here. Wow, look at this red. Look at this red candle. Oil. Yeah, look at oil, guys. So we can look at oil here.
Holy moly.
Yeah, oil spiking. Next down. Yeah, look at oil right here. Oil's ripping up. Oil down. I mean, this is kind of the market right now. Oil goes up, NASDAQ moves down.
Mm-hmm.
Good oil spike. Oil's at 160 right now.
And Pond says silver dropped to 70.58 per ounce. 3%.
Yeah, I think markets pricing in less rate cuts this year, more escalation. Probably gold and silver to struggle here. Look at oil rip just now, guys. 116.70s for oil. 116.70s. And I don't see any news right now. Nothing that really would influence this. GDP maybe forecast lower. But yeah, markets are definitely reacting here. NASDAQ flushing down to 24,000. Yeah, look, here's 24,000. Big psychological level. We break under 24,000. Markets might get nervous. Okay, yeah, here's last month's P&L. We ran 66,000 accuracy last month. This was the entire month of March. All right, look, we're right at 24,000 here. Here's the P&L history. Basically, since we started this account. Look at that. Pretty nice little graph there. Yeah, deadline 8 p.m. Eastern time, Nathan. Look at the NASDAQ. Just broke under 24,000. Let's see if we... I almost want to buy this, though. I know that's a risky thing. Am I going to regret not buying this? 24,000 psychological level. Might prop it up short term. Especially when there's not really any catalyst driving this move down. Outside of the conflict. There's 24,000. Should I buy this, guys? Talk me out of it. Talk me out of this. Should I buy this? I mean, there's a catalyst, but I mean like a short-term acute catalyst, I guess is the way to put it. No, don't buy. Yes, YOLO. Nope. MicroStrategy. Wait, no. Hey, John, why is the market falling? It's not really falling on any recent news. The deadline is coming up tonight, so that's kind of what markets are reacting to so far. All right, so y'all are telling me not to buy it. Listen, I'm just going to say here, all right, if we rip up here, if we move up, I blame you guys. Y'all will never hear the end of it. I will always reference the time I was right and y'all were wrong, and y'all stopped me. If y'all are right, I'm just going to ignore that and not even talk about it.
If you're wrong, just blame it on me.
Right. If I'm wrong, it's Brick's fault. It's the chat's fault. How could you do this to me? If y'all are right, you know, just variance here. Yeah, listen. Hey guys, listen. I'm not saying we bounced at 24,000 where I wanted to buy it. I'm just going to circle this. I wanted to buy right here. You guys stopped me from buying it right there. It's too early. How could you guys do this to me? You know? How could you guys do this to me? Hold on. Wait. Can't believe this. Guys, I can't believe it.
Sabotage.
No, that's what it is, dude. That's exactly what this is. Listen. I don't know if this really
apparently.
hits.
Apparently, your wife keeps on calling you.
Can't believe you guys did this to me. You know? I probably would have taken profit already, even if we continued down. Honestly, realistically, I probably would have gotten out. But I did not take the trade. The chat talked me out of it. You know.
That's it. You're ruined.
I know. Listen. a reputation here, you know. Like the Edward Scissorhands music right here. All right, so the U.S. Economic Optimism Index posted 42.8 versus 48.1 expected, previous of 47. So not a lot of optimism in markets right now here, guys. And we'll do it again. I see you, Jonathan. I see you, man.
No remorse.
I know, dude. Listen. They've got it out for me here. I can feel it. Feel it.
It's Schadenfreude, you know?
That's right. Yeah, if we break this low, I'm deleting the circle where I wanted to enter real quick. Real quick. No regrets. That's right.
Scotty P.
Suddenly feel like doing some hedging. You bought Nike? Listen, I'm going to say this. I bought Nike, took profit on in the green. Held a small percentage of the position down to the red it's at now. And I'll probably end up just holding that long term. So I think, honestly, I do think I'm going to make it out green on Nike. Green on Nike. I do believe it's going to turn out okay. I do
too. I just don't see Nike going away. Or,
right.
You know.
It might take 10 years, 5 years maybe.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to be green on it.
I like Nike, but sadly I can't wear their shoes. My feet are too wide. They run narrow.
Yeah, they really do.
Also, John, I still have nightmares about that awesome shoe that I wanted when I was out there last time that I couldn't get.
The Vans?
Yeah, dude. The remember the dark green ones?
Yeah, dude. They didn't have them. I don't even know why they have them out. Dude, Britt and I went to the shoe store, and we were, like, buying shoes and stuff. Literally, every pair we asked for, they were like, no, we don't have it. You know, I don't know if they're trying to pull, like a Popeye's chicken move, where they kind of have limited amounts, so it makes the, like, supply and demand. People are like, oh, I need the shoes now since I can't get them. But, dude, every shoe we asked for, they'd be like, nope, don't have it. Nope, don't have it.
Yeah, I couldn't even try it on. He's like, well, you know, the guy was like, well, you can just buy it online. It's like, I'm not buying a shoe I can't try on.
Right. He's like, you can come pick it up in a week and a half. No, dude. I'm never doing that. You don't even have it today, or I don't want it. I might not want it in a week from now.
Yeah, besides, I'm not driving 6 hours back out here just to get a shoe.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they McRibbed you. That's right, yeah.
Totally.
All right, guys, look. We're starting to head up still. This is supposed to be sad music. It's kind of turned optimistic. It kind of sounds like Jurassic Park music all of a sudden. Yeah, we just saved the day from a bunch of dinosaurs. Now we're leaving in a helicopter and this music's playing. You know?
Epic soundtrack. John Williams was awesome.
Doc Martens, dude. It's been years. I refuse to get back into the trends, bro. I grew up in the 90s. I wore baggy pants. I wore little metal bead necklaces. You know, I wore Doc Martens. All right? I had a Fossil watch. I'm not doing it again. I refuse to go back. Yeah, I'm not doing it again. You know? They can make fun of my ankle socks. That's okay. I refuse to be trendy again.
Did you wear the pants with all the zippers on them?
I had Jinkos with an alien on them and the coolest wallet chain around, you know? All right, guys, look, I'm going to point this out here. I'm not telling the chat y'all were wrong. I should never have listened to you guys. I should have never listened to you guys here. Like, look, I was trying to buy it literally right here, dude. Right here.
Shouldn't have even asked.
How could you guys do this to me? You know? I'll never listen to you guys again. You know?
You're never going to recover from this, John.
I know, dude. We don't give financial advice. Don't copy us. Buy and short big psychological levels because most people pay attention to it. I know, bro. Listen, I was right about that. Listen, I was trying to buy it right here. I
And
thought
then
we'd have some wisdom of the crowd statistical dynamics here. But instead we just got wrongness. I don't even know the proper word for it. Just wrongness.
Wrongness. Really?
I know it's not a word, but y'all are wrong.
It was right. Incorrectitude,
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Chad knows y'all aren't financial professionals. I know, dude. I know. Thanks a lot, Dave.
You're gonna end up hiding your face in shame like the Phantom of the Opera from now on.
I know, man. That's it. I am definitely the more experienced trader. Brent's, I don't think he's ever traded ever.
Not unless you count Pokemon cards.
Yeah, the chat is never hearing the end of this. I'm gonna reference this moment. I gotta turn this music off though. It almost makes me want to. Like I'm about to fall asleep. But hold on.
I'm sleeping now anyway. I can't even hear the music, so
Yeah. It's just to show the chat how sad I am in this for listening to them.
Gotta do the sad walking away music from the Incredible Hulk for that.
Yeah. Pershing Square's Agman said he would finance the deal for UMG. New York Times is reporting U.S. is intensifying attacks in an effort to force them to open the Strait of Hormuz to reach a ceasefire deal. Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of obvious.
We're all becoming one of the top 3 worst traders you taught us.
I've taught you well, then, guys. I've taught you well. Yeah. Remember, tomorrow we got the Fed minutes report and more going live, so be ready. We'll see what happens with the deadline tonight. Again, use coupon code BGT at checkout. Get the max discount on all your favorite prop firms.
Bitcoin almost as important, but sorry.
No, you're good. Again, Bitcoin is down to 66 in the number higher than it. Yeah, oil is breaking the highs. Nasdaq's cracking lows. Oil up to 117 a barrel for WTI, West Texas Intermediate crude futures. So we are starting to creep up here. Look at that yields as well here. I'm curious what they're doing in all this stuff. Yeah.
We're right back, John.
Okay. Yeah, Bitcoin just started popping back up. I don't know any trades to take here. I mean, I could take a short at 150s. 150 short does look a little bit more enticing now. But I also think there's a chance, like, if we climb all the way back up there, there might be more momentum for a potential reversal. You know, so, like, if we get way back up here, you know, the bulls might gain control, and we might get back up here, and then... That's what I'm worried about now. We've broken down a lot. We are heading into the deadline. Yeah, I mean, bears are definitely in control. I just don't know if there's enough meat on the move to take a short position. Q going to 23,800. The Q's at what, like 600s? 500s? 580s? Yeah, it's right around 6. Yeah, the Q will hit those numbers in like 2050. You guys red or green today now? Nvidia's starting to creep back higher here. So Nvidia is getting close. Nvidia is up to 175.50, so it's starting to rebound back up. Man, dude, I should have taken that long here at 24,000. Who's getting the blame? Dude, the chat is definitely getting the blame. I don't know whose fault it is I missed that trade. It's definitely not my fault. You know? Chat's definitely getting blamed for this. It's not too late. It's never too late. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Beethoven said that, you know?
What did Beethoven say?
It's not too late. It's never too late.
Oh, okay.
Dave's fault? Definitely Dave.
Three Days Grace was a great band.
Oh, they were. They were too angsty for me to listen to it as an adult. Like, I can't listen to them really as an adult. As, like, a teenager, I could. Right? But at this point in time, listening to music about hating my parents, it's just kind of like, I can't reasonably do that. I got a great relationship with my parents, you know? Like, I can't listen to it. And then I also feel bad listening to it with my son or my daughter, because then they're going to, like, be like, oh, screw my parents, you know? I'm not gonna be just like you, Dad. You know, I don't want to condition. I don't want to condition that behavior in him. I just don't end up listening to him anymore. But yeah.
I get what you're saying. I just really like Animal I've Become, like, gets me amped still, like in a nostalgic way, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's a great song. Yeah. I like it.
Also, they did a really good crossover with Apocalyptica. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, I'll have to check it out. Yeah. Right. Listening to the Edible I've Become as I go pick my kids up from car line, you know? You know what I mean? I just can't do it anymore.
Head banging in the carpool line.
That's right. I can't seriously listen to it anymore and feel cool, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, man, what an animal I am, you know?
Yeah, listen to that song before you roll and then, like, you know, tear your hamstring or something.
Yeah,
you get so excited.
With my knee brace on, you know?
Yeah, you're right. You just can't feel like a bad like you're bad at 38. Really, I guess.
Yeah. Any thoughts on Palantir? I mean, Palantir's interesting. PE ratio is still too high even after this pullback, but it's interesting. Defense should be boosting this higher, and it did. But we'll see what happens to it. I mean, I like Palantir long term. I think eventually it'll probably catch up to the high PE, but. Ooh, man, I called the bottom of this in that trade. I just didn't take it, but man. Yeah, there's 150s.
By the way, just since Beethoven was mentioned, did you know that what they believe to be the cause of his hearing loss was chronic lead poisoning?
That makes sense. Yeah, I did not hear about that, but that makes sense.
Apparently, I think it was from contaminated wine. That's horrible.
Interesting. Yeah, but can you pick the high? I'm looking at 150s. 150s.
I think that's reasonable. Looking at the pattern or the trend.
Yeah. I mean, we got this low here. Again, the problem is, like, now we're almost an hour into the open. Markets are just looking less favorable. I'm probably gonna get out of here pretty soon here, guys. And remember, tomorrow we got the Fed minutes. Thursday we got GDP and PCE inflation data. Before I go, check out Top Step. I worked with them for a long time. Check out Apex. Max discount, 90% off sale ends Thursday. 90% off. Coupon code BGT at checkout. BGT. Check out Lucid. Direct to funded options. Reasonable rules. This account is a Lucid account that I'm trading right here. Coupon code BGT. I'm not gonna take 150s. I'm gonna roll out of here, pompously, because I called the bottom here. The chat was wrong. I was right. And I was right. I know. I was done wrong by the chat, but that's okay. Because I'll be right again another day. I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good. Have a great day. Again, coupon code BGT. Check out Apex. 90% off sale ends Thursday. You can find the link in the description. Check out Lucid. Same thing. You get 50% off first time user. Or I think for a couple times on the Vault promo for Lucid. So check them out as well. Have a great day. Listen, deadline is tonight at 8 o'clock here. 8 o'clock deadline tonight. We'll see what happens. See what happens. Y'all be good. Have a great day. See you guys later.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody.